Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters, and debunkers. Going to have a chat with FPV Angel. Hopefully we've got things all set up now to discuss the ancient origins and the research by a group of people, I suppose, which FPV Angel will tell us about under the name APM Research. And yeah, it's good to see you in. Thank you for coming along. And if someone can just let me know if the sound is okay. You know, these things are fraught with technical issues. So yeah, great. So I'm going to be the only one on camera. FPV is staying off camera, but we got the we're having a Google Hangout, and we'll talk about how this all came about. So, okay, thank you, Luca. All right, good stuff. FPV, are you there, my man?
Good afternoon, Nick. Yes, I'm here.
All right, good. Yeah, it was morning for you, afternoon for me.
Yeah, yeah. I keep remember because most people I speak to now are from the West.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, thanks for this. I mean, we were going to do this last week, but I got sick, and so this is great to actually finally have it going. Yeah, I basically let's kind of really try and break this down. I mean, you've done what 10 or so years of research into this, so a lot of work has gone into this, and I've kind of dipped my toes in and out, but I think what I'd really love to do here is give people the foundation, basically, and if we can go through this kind of in a kind of a chronological order, and just tell us about how this all came about. So do you just want to just tell us how you got into this to start with, and then as we go through this, we'll understand what we're looking at here as in terms of your APM model.
Yeah, of course, Nick. Yeah. Well, as probably most of us now in this community, from probably 2015 onwards, that's when I first started seeing flat Earth topic popping up.
Right.
And I was moderating in a large news stream at the time. I mean, the stream I was in, I wasn't even involved in anything to do with it. I just got dragged into it there because I was talking to people there, and I was moderating. The next thing, I was on this big news stream. But anyway, it was something to do with Donald Trump or some of the stream. But anyway, you know, that's right. But the guy that owned the stream, he actually made another stream for us to watch flat Earth videos on, because, you know, this was the topic just starting to come out at the time. And I thought, wow, brilliant, you know, so it gave us like our own little channel to sit and watch flat Earth videos that were coming out, and anything I could find, it was put into there. Now, I started following some of the guys in the flat Earth community, Antonio Subrats and Karen B, you know, all these people were like together at the time. I think they all fell out later on, but anyway, when they were working together at the time, they were working on Antonio's map, which was basically a pizza map, the Gleason's type design. Unless Antonio had his own name for it, I can't remember now. It was that long ago that. But you know, I was helping them at the time and doing my own research into the background in the background, because I was looking into things like the Nazca lines. Because the first thing that thought come into my mind, Nick, you know, if they're lying about what those things are in the sky, then, you know, if we've debunked zero gravity space, why aren't they falling out the sky? They're not dropping out the sky, so something is placing them there and moving them.
Right.
So my avenue has been, okay, you know, we must be looking at technology. What else could do such a thing? If they're not, you know, rocks floating in fake space, what the hell are they and what's moving them? So, you know, it was like, right, is there a way I can, you know, home in on technology anywhere in any of these subjects?
Right.
And that was the avenue I started going down. Now, when I was decoding the Nazca lines, that was the major big thing I was playing with at the time was the Nazca lines. Now, there's lots of, you know, theories about what they are. The last one, they're usually things like, runways for UFOs. Why a runway? Why a UFO would need a runway? I've no idea, because they can just go up and down, can't they? But yeah, that was some of the other ridiculous theories out there.
Right.
But what I started doing when I started line tracing them, I started seeing technology in the glyphs. There's one like a robot or a console. There's different types of antenna, like Yagi beams, and even antenna. I haven't got a name for it, but you can tell it's an antenna. And then, of course, I came across the Sunstar of Peru, which is what you're actually looking at on the screen. That grid. You see the grid?
Yes.
Yeah, and the grid behind it, that's a 12 by 12 grid. It's got 6 concentric circles, 6 squares, and 6 rhombi. I thought that's very interesting. There's a 666 hiding in there, just in the line work.
Right. I'm just gonna I did prepare some images. So, yeah, obviously, the Nazca lines has been, like you say, a curiosity for many years, and there are a lot of theories on it, aren't there?
There are, yeah.
Yeah. But you've kind of, I suppose. So, did you do a lot of in-depth research into the Nazca lines?
Not in depth in what other people have said they were. I just did all I did was I went on Google Earth and I started line tracing them, and it became like a passion for it. I really got excited about it and enjoyed doing it. And it took me months to map out all the lines that I could find on there. I still haven't found them all. And I know there's still people finding them today, but it didn't really matter because it was more confirmation to me. I'm looking at something as old as the hills here,
right?
And it's got technological configurations, scattered about all over the lands. Like that one you've got there, the one you're looking at there. That's a Class 1 geoglyph.
Okay,
and to me, my mission was I've got to put that on a map and grid and see what it looks like, but put it over one of the world map, and it became a mission then trying to align that to make any sense on any of the world maps.
Okay, sorry for the uninitiated. What do you mean by geoglyph?
Yeah, right. The geoglyph are these lines that they traced on the desert. They carved into rock, stone, sand. They stood the test of the time. They were at Nazca, Peru. I would recommend anyone go and try it themselves in Google Earth. It's not copyright to no one. You can go in there and trace these lines and see what you find. You're going to come across various species of animal and some really neat-looking configurations of technology of him, which I still don't have a name for some of them. I can see it's technology, but what it's supposed to represent, I'm not sure.
Right.
But that was what I was looking for, Nick. The confirmation that the ancients understood and portrayed technology. That's the important thing I was looking for, and I've seen it at the Nazca lines.
Right. I mean, how old do you think these are? I mean, I'm not sure of what the kind of mainstream researchers assume the age of this to be.
Good question, Nick. I've never looked at the data. I don't know if they can date. I mean, how do you date lines? I don't believe they're carbon dating it as it is. Do you?
No, not really. I wouldn't presume to know. Yeah.
What I do know with glyphs and things like glyphs is these predate all man's written books. These were here long before man wrote books.
Okay.
When you look around the world, every culture's got glyphs, myths, legends, everything, and they're all associated with these glyphs. Now, as far as I'm concerned, they were our, man's first written things came in a form like this. Now, we might have had, things written on paper in them days. I can't prove that, but to be able to depict things, I mean, especially on this scale, Nick, talking this is going across hundreds of miles of desert and mountain.
Yeah.
At Nazca, Peru. I mean, some of the mountain tops were leveled to accommodate the lifts. You think, what scale are we working at here where they can level the top of the lifts on?
Yeah.
According to them, we're working with like donkeys and copper chisels and things.
Right.
I really don't think so.
No. In fact, actually, it's interesting. Just before we started having our chat, I was listening to a video, kind of half-heartedly, but it was about quantum computing and what, the leaps and bounds that apparently Google created this chip called Sycamore and then Willow, and some really strange stuff started happening, and they were experiencing these what they thought were glitches at the time. But we're basically talking about technology that appears to be becoming conscious, and in these, so they are getting these what they called glyphs, and they resemble, apparently, obviously this is kind of, a lot of this is under wraps and it's all very kind of cloak and dagger stuff, but apparently, according to incisors, some of the symbology that was coming out of these what they thought were glitches but turned out not to be glitches in this supercomputer programming was resembling a lot of the this kind of thing, these mandalas and
sacred geometry.
Sacred geometry.
Yeah.
So
it just keeps popping up, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. So I mean, maybe it's obviously, when we come to talk about maps and models and things like that, we're not just talking about some kind of objective thing, but we're talking about, essentially, we're talking about the meaning of life, creation, where are we, how do we get here, what's it all about? I mean, it's a hot and deep topic, isn't it?
It really is, Nick, because, that was a big shocker to me. When you look around the world, all these glyphs, temples, structures, pyramids, you name it, everyone can't answer who made them, what they're supposed to represent, or anything.
Right.
That was the shock. That was a shocker to me. Is, you get all these different theories on what things are, and you think, wait a minute, why doesn't the world really know what these are, or who built them? That was a really big shocker to me. I thought, there's so many things everywhere across the world. Every country has got all these amazing sites, and these are our creation stories. This is where they originate from. So to me, these are the original teachings of how they would teach us how our world works, because all of this sacred geometry relates to how this world works, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Because what I've figured out over time, we've done reset work. Now, when these resets happen, I'm pretty sure, we get memory wiped. When you think about it, Nick, why has the whole world got amnesia when it comes to all these sites when we should know what they are? Because they're right beside us every day.
Yeah.
Why has everyone forgot what they represent?
Yeah.
It's, to me, there's an event takes place and we do seem to forget, or, it's down to wars and all the other indoctrination that comes from it.
Right. Yeah.
So many avenues you could look down that way, to see why we forgot.
Right. Well, it doesn't take much, does it? Really, a couple of generations to of not having information available to the general public.
Yeah.
Wipes it out from our memory. Yeah. It doesn't.
2 or 3 generations, and you can actually change world history.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's pretty scary when you think about it.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, obviously, maybe that's possibly what the world wars were about. We know there are times when there are massive conflicts, but there's also things that these nations have to agree to as well for some unknown reason. There are higher powers than these nations at play. Yeah. So
well, that's what you come to find out eventually. These people are all working together. They might not look it, but we see them clear as day, all working together, and it's all to hide what this world is and how it works.
Yeah, that's and I suppose we could theorize forever on why they have to hide these things. And sorry, just while I'm just trying to just do something, trying to bring up another slideshow here while we do this. Just see if
no worries.
Okay, right, yeah. So just kind of while we're chatting, this will just loop with some of these other figures that are part of that can be found in the same area. Yeah. So, okay, so the grid that we saw just now was basically the foundation of where you started to put things together for a would you call it a model or a map or a bit of both, or
the map, the map and the grid, we've realized they have to go together, because the it's all about the grid. The grid is what centers how well the luminaries function and everything. So the grid would be the blueprints that you overlay on the map, and then you have to, model the sun and everything going across it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was some of the early work that in One Conscience did. We were trying to align the grid to make any sense on the world map, which is we work with is the Mercator map.
Right.
And once I got it scaled to a certain point, I realised, wait a minute, these are these are crossing the international date lines. They've gone beyond it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gone beyond them, the east and west date lines. I was starting to notice things like that. Plus, certain sites on the grid were starting to highlight where things in the real world had been taking place, like the Kola borehole aligned right perfectly over one of those dots you see on that centre plate.
I'm sorry.
See the one.
Yeah, go on.
If you see the one up near Russia there, and on that centre plate, there's a dot there at I think it's top of Norway, just above, somewhere near Russia.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember the name of the site now. It's that long since I looked at it.
Right.
But there's two there. There's one there, they call a borehole. The one direct below it is the German intercontinental drilling program. I thought, wow, interesting. So they're both drilling down onto these two dots that we're looking at on this grid. So what's going on there?
Okay. What was the official story there? Do you know?
Well, that's when they said they could only go 8 miles deep with the drill and then stopped. And I thought, well, working with One Conscience on quakes, she says to me, some of these deep quakes come from 8 miles. She said, and I says, well, they've obviously got to where they wanted to get to and stopped then. And when no one's looking, they're going to go a bit further, aren't they? To us, they're probing what's down below. God knows what they're doing, but they're probing what's below and trying to find ways to get there. Right. Which is, if you're not another video of ours, I've called it Obliterating Evidence or Gaining Access. And it was during the Cold War when they started doing this nuclear program with underground nuclear detonations.
Mm-hmm.
I've made a video on that, and you'll see where the grid overlay is where you can see all the nukes were going off. And when you see those two put together, you realise they're actually trying to access what we're looking at on the screen here.
I see.
They're working around this grid doing things. It starts to show up clear as day on that grid.
Okay. So
they have to be aware and be using this grid also.
Okay. Yeah. So just to backtrack a little bit. So the grid is obviously there. It's been there for thousands of years. Do you know how it's actually etched into the ground? Is it?
Good question, yeah. Because you'd think dust and all sorts would hide it all, wouldn't you? But it isn't. So it's either deep etching into the dirt on the surface, or perhaps they've been carved across stone. Because, like I said, there's plateaus there with it on, and you think, wow, it was on the scale of it, Nick. It's not a scale that we would depict. I don't think humans put it there. It looks more like giants put it there. Unless it shows you how extremely intelligent and clever humans were back then to do it at our scale, because it would take some doing from people at our scale. It was so accurate, and I thought, to have that accuracy, you'd have to you'd probably be a few miles tall at least, and see just to see what you're doing on the ground, because at ground level, it's really hard to tell what you're looking at.
Right. Do you remember the measurements of these? I something like, I can't remember how many 100 meters across this is, or
they vary, they vary, and it goes over hundreds of miles as well. So you're going to find them in different sizes.
Right. Yeah.
That one there was an important one. There's other theories on them as well. You can look at other people's theories, but they don't come anywhere. No one did with them what I've done with them, because I wasn't just looking at that. I was overlaying it all on the world map, trying to make sense of it.
Okay.
And as far as I'm concerned, it will show you places on the world map where there's some, serious things going on down below. I can't prove that, of course, but that's what it shows me. It's showing you where there's interesting locations or down below locations.
Right. Okay, that was going to be my next question. Basically, what this is you think is something that's beneath the surface.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
I think this configuration going into scriptures in the Book of Enoch now, because when they mention like the gates in the north, south, east, and west, or Enoch's portals, portals are gates, the same thing. It's just a window to another world, they would call it. And if you look at this grid, you can see them on it, and I aligned them, and like I said, they went over the international date lines.
Right.
And that's when things became really interesting, because that's when I started thinking, obviously the world's larger than we thought. If this is crossing over there and it works and it's true, then there's land over there that this grid represents. They're outside of the map, as you can see there on the animation plane. The international date lines are where them straight cuts in Antarctica are. So anything east and west of there is not supposed to exist, because that's the constraints of the globe, what you're looking at in that narrowing of that grid, that map.
Okay.
Now that map that you're looking at there, the reason we use this one, this is what it looks like when you take it out of Google Earth. Wasn't me that did it. It was a guy called Series, one hippie.
Okay.
He gave me this map. He hacked into Google Earth, and he realized its algorithms, when you use it at a ground level on Google Earth. Oh, hold on a second.
Sure,
What a time to get a phone call.
No worries.
Hold on a second.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Just while he's doing that, let's just say hi to everyone in chat. Hello there. Hello, Bloods. Thicker, who we got here? Luca, hi. Juniper. Rainbow, I like the way you spelled that. Jason Tomlinson, hi. Okay, hopefully this will put you to sleep, but give you something to dream about. Juniper, all right. Lucky me, hi. Okay, it's starting now. Hopefully you're in there now. I'm just answering your question there. Jack Streaming, hello there. Thanks for coming in. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll just let me just go through seeing who else is in chat. Heart Earth. Good to see you. Andres, hello. All right. Okay. Good. Yeah. Let me just make sure I haven't missed anyone there. On a plane. Hi. Dean HD. Hi. Okay. Rich Spillman. Okay. Good. Thank you, Rich. Great topic. Yeah. Renegade 1. All right. Good stuff. So yeah, obviously. So let's just not get ahead of ourselves too much.
Oh yeah, we were on scriptures, weren't we, and the gates and the portals. Yeah, that's
so,
where we were.
Okay, well, you've basically worked out that, or at least you've made some connections that lead you to think that this Nazca, what do you call it? I mean, it's kind of a mandala.
It's the Nazca mandala, yes.
Nazca mandala, and of course, this isn't just in Peru, is it? This is across the world. We see this in Hindu, in various ancient cultures. And it's still, it's still alive in that respect, isn't it?
They're always different designs, but they all represent the same thing. And to me, or from an APM viewpoint, any mandala is a blueprint to this realm. That's what it's really depicting. You look at this configuration and you put it on a map, it starts to make sense, like what we did with our map.
Right.
So it's to me the blueprints of the realm, and you can see when you watch like Tibetan monks, they're designing these. It's been imprinted, and they've got to design them so perfect. All the colours have to be right and everything. Yeah. Why would you why would you be so meticulous with something like that if it wasn't important? Because it is important, and like I said, we have forgot what all this represents. Even though we can still recreate it, we're all looking for answers for what it means.
Yeah.
That's what's happened, isn't it? We're all wanting answers. Everyone's looking for answers, and we're not getting them. And mainstream ain't giving them either, are they?
Certainly not. No.
They give us some rubbish, but it's not an answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because the Tibetan monks will use it as a form of meditation.
Oh yes, yeah.
And I suppose one of the main things there is that, once they've done it and it's perfect, then they just brush it all up and sweep it away, right? So. It's that kind of renewal.
What they're waiting for, Nick. What I've realised is we're all, after these reset events, we're all supposed to be helping each other and remembering things. This is why some of these imported belief systems in other countries have came from somewhere else, because as previously in the past they've had to, look into what do they believe, right? Okay, so we can get fragments from that back. Everyone's trying to rebuild their creation stories. Some countries no longer have them, unluckily. But I look around at all the creation stories, and I can decode them. It doesn't matter which culture they're from. I can decode their creation stories. They'll tell me the same story.
Okay.
So it gets easier and easier to decode it. I want to speak to the Hopi tribe. I want to speak to the Aborigines. I want to speak to everyone out there that's got their creation stories, and tell them what it really means, because everyone else forgot.
Yeah. So you see correlations across like Mayan, Christian, biblical, and any other cultures. I mean, all.
Yeah. Rose, one of our researchers that we haven't seen for a while, she tested me one day. She was putting images up on the screen, and I was just telling her what it represented. And she'd done it for about 5 or 10 minutes. I says to her, what are you doing? She says, this is interesting. She says, because everything I'm showing you're giving me answers for them, but they're all coming from different countries.
Right.
I says, well, they're all telling the same story to me. They all look the same. They're all depicting the same thing. And you see it. You start seeing all these connections. So some cultures depict things differently, but it's just a different expression of the same thing.
Right.
And I showed that in one of our recent videos. That I've done several different expressions of one decoder did. And there were so many. I've found even more than 7 since then. But there's so many different ways you can express this information. And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at expressions of this technology all across the world. Like the spiral. What does the spiral represent to you, Nick?
We see it in nature for sure, and it's something obviously energetic, isn't it?
Yeah. To me, this is the spiral. That's the spiraling pressure wave of electromagnetism that is coming from this technology. That's what that effect is what we're calling wind. But if you study wind, you'll see it actually spirals. You watch the clouds, you will see them spiraling. Everything's spiraling in this world.
Yeah.
All like Walter Russell says, all motion is spiral. Well, all motion is curved. All curves are spiral. That's Walter Russell's wording. To make them like a propeller on a plane. It's spiraling to move. So he's correct with his spiraling theory.
Yeah.
But to me, it's got a deeper meaning, and it all boils down to this technology.
Okay. So yeah, that's your when you talk about APM, isn't it? APM research, that stands for.
Yes, the angelic particle matrix. Angelic has been angels because that's what we call this technology. Particle because of the particles they accelerate within the ether. Jason's probably going to clout me for this because even ether needs defined correctly. There's so many different things. There's so many booby traps and words we can fall into just to term, label something, and it's not always the right word. So I'll double check on that with Jason. I'll still use, he says, because he'll say to me, what do you mean by ether? And I'll say, well, just the atmosphere in general. It's being manipulated by this technology.
Yeah.
So, that's for the particle part of the name. And then matrix, because it is a matrix of this technology. We can see it overlaps and it crosses all lands and the oceans. So
right.
That's how we came to that with that name for the research that we do.
Okay.
APM research. So that's the when it was born. So I think it was somewhere around 2017. We decided on that name. It was between me, Jimbo, and One Conscience that we got that name out of it, because that's who I was working with at the time.
Right. So you got there's a core of 3 or 4 of you, or maybe more, working on this. Yeah.
At any one time, there's always me, and I would honestly, God, I can't even tell you how many people. I've never counted them.
Right.
And like I say, some we haven't seen for a couple of years now. Real life does get in the way sometimes. Even with me, the last 3 years, it's been a busy 3 years and all kinds going on. But I've still got to keep the stream going or whatever, because I was live streaming 24/7 from my mother's home.
Okay.
But we are in touch, and I can get in touch with any one of them at any time. People think we've disbanded or something because we're not doing anything together. But it's not. It's just real life enough. At least 4 of them have moved house.
Okay. Yeah.
One conscience herself's got 3 jobs that she's having to work at the moment. But 'cause
Wow.
she does save up. She's got a lot of grandkids to play with. They're keeping her busy. But
Yeah.
I have had a chat with her, and she's she'll be back when she's ready. I said, take your time. We've
Right.
I says we've hammered it for years, and I says everyone deserves some time off.
Right. Sure.
Go and enjoy your life a little bit. We're not going anywhere. We've laid the foundations. It's the rest gets easier now. That was the hard bit, getting the last 8 years out the way.
Yeah. So that's it, isn't it? We can, there's obviously a limit, and it's great to theorize, but I suppose there is a limit to what we can know, and then sometimes you just have to wait for things to become apparent. Just things come onto your radar or whatever. Now,
and I know I can put this team anywhere, and they will pull out the goodies needed to decode it. They know exactly what they're looking for. That's how efficient they are now.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And every one of them will pull something different out to everyone else. That's what I like about them. They've all got their own unique abilities and skills that make this team something pretty amazing. I'll go in and decode something. They'll go in, they'll see something else. Jason will go in and he'll see something else. It really works well together how we do it.
Yeah, and that's what it is. I mean, obviously, like you say, this putting these lines on the surface of the Earth probably required quite an effort. Again, we don't know the technology they were using, but it was obviously very important, and yeah.
And you've probably seen them around the world, Nick. They are carved into rock as well. So, again, I'm not sure what tools they used at the time, but as far as I'm concerned, these are the oldest depictions humans have been making. Because how far back can we go in human history? It all comes down to the geopetron hieroglyphs. That's the only language we can see that's made by humans, or on this scale, possibly giants on that scale. But we do find ones at our scale everywhere as well. So, and they're all telling they've all got the same kind of glyphs. All the spirals are there. They might have a couple of things slightly different, but they're all telling the same story to me. In other words, it tells me we've always known what all this means and how it works. And the change in history that caused us all to forget it more and more was when the Roman Empire invaded. They invaded just after a reset, going by our 400-year reset. If you jump back 400 years at a time, it was just after a reset when they invaded. So that would leave nations at their weakest, I would imagine. Which makes it easy to invade and take over.
Okay, yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, they never left, Nick. They just rebadged to the British Empire.
Yeah. What do you mean by a reset exactly? And how would you know it would be every 400 years?
Right, the reset. We decoded it to be a reset because it follows the Maunder minimum. Once we started looking at it, and everyone depicts or mentions all these disasters in history. They call it biblical, and you name it. The end times, Revelations, prophecy, all these kind of things. When you think of prophecy to us now is just ancient knowledge of cycles. They know the cycles. They know it's regular. It's going to happen again, and so they teach it. Now, when I was looking at the Mayan beliefs, what the Mayan were believing in, they had a 394-year long count calendar, which to me is another marker. Why would you make a marker that's a calendar that's 394 years?
Okay.
It's a strange number, isn't it? It's, to me, they rounded it off to 400. I think Christianity rounds it off to around 400 years. To me, they were marking this event. Like I said, it follows the Maunder minimum, which brings a mini ice age. According to the real data today, we are going to go in a mini ice age.
Okay, sorry. The Mona, is it a Mona minimum? Mona minimum. You're talking about
Maunder. Yeah, Maunder minimum. Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Maunder.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll find there's the expert on it. It's Valentina. I can't remember her last name now. She's the expert on it, and she advised them a long time ago. Look, we're going to go into a mini ice age. And that which is where I think global warming comes into it. They're trying to artificially heat the atmosphere to compensate, which is probably what the chem planes are actually doing. I can't prove that, like I said, but we have to look at everything.
Yeah, sure.
You see where I'm coming from now.
Yeah, sure,
We
sure.
do, why they're doing that, and how does it relate to this? That's the avenues we start looking down, because then you start seeing a picture of there's things going on in the background in this world that people aren't aware of, or they see it and don't realize what's going on. Like I said with the chem planes, there's a hidden empire hiding in this world, controlling nations, and they've all got the same policies.
Right.
Now that empire, I can connect all three of them quite easily, so you know which countries are involved, and that would be anyone with a space agency or attachments to, because what they're doing in space or alleged space, they've got to fake events up there as being something of theirs, which is what the ISS is all about. Like I've said this before, Nick, people aren't asking the right questions. We can debunk the ISS all day, easy, but why are they trying to take the credit for that light in the sky that we see? That's what they're really doing. They're trying to take credit for celestial events and pretend it's something man's doing, and actually it's the realm doing what it does.
Yeah, I remember seeing a long time ago photographs. I think they were taken through a telescope. This is years ago, early internet time, where this guy was photographing what appeared to be structures. Maybe whether he was actually filming stars or something other than the stars that we see.
Oh yeah, I remember him. I remember that guy.
Yeah, and it's like, they have these kind of lines and things to them. Yes, just something very structural that who knows whether it's you obviously, if you wanted to debunk it, you could talk about the properties of the photographic plates and things like that. But I think, there's again these. So, go on.
I was going to say, so from our perspective now, anything going on up there it's the realm doing it. It's the construct doing its own own thing, and man's trying their best to fake it as being them. They're doing something.
Yeah,
So that was the the connection to the fake space. The why of it. Why are they faking the ISS and things like that? Because they're trying to take the credit for things up there that aren't actually man doing it. So as far as I'm concerned, the only thing man's got up there is balloons and aircraft, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's important, isn't it? Because that does pertain to the kind of creation story that we're given. The whole Big Bang thing, this advancement of the kind of material science that we're given. It is a creation story, and
it is.
it kind of seems to replace anything that comes from any kind of intelligence. It kind of says no, nothing intelligent is behind it. It just happened. So obviously we're looking at something that is, intelligently designed, whether it's the Earth itself and what's above it. But basically, so this grid obviously is something that you see as being. We're talking about some kind of electric style circuit.
Yeah, electromagnetic circuitry. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's basically going on.
When Jimbo was working with us, he said it's kind of like an oscilloscope and a cathode ray tube in one. The way it's behaving and what he can see how the luminaries cross east to west and return.
Right.
So he was comparing it to an oscilloscope and the cathode ray tube, which I would agree with. What I'm seeing myself, it is technology. It's using the sky as like a screen.
Yeah.
So the luminaries in our model aren't they're coming from below us. This is where the azimuth so below comes from. What you're seeing up there is coming from down there. Is what that actually tells us, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing lights in the sky elevated on the tips of cones, which is how electrics actually work. Electronics, same kind of thing. Oh, you think, wow, how deep does this go? How advanced were they with circuitry and technology? Or, and who, at the end of the day, Nick, who built it? You know,
Right.
everyone's got a belief in a creator. I mean, I never used to have one until I found this. Like
Mm-hmm.
9, 10 years ago, I didn't believe in a creator.
Okay.
Now I'm proving their handiwork as far as I'm concerned. We're looking at their handiwork on a
Yeah.
grand scale. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and you know, I would ask anyone this now. What to you is the glory? You know, what do you think was created? Let's science it. What was
Mm,
created and how? We have to
mm,
science it to get answers, don't we?
mm, mm,
We can't
mm.
just have a magic wand creator, flashes wand, and we've got a world that does all this. No, that's not reality. We can science it
Right.
because that's the important part. Because in holy books, it does tell you it was built by hand. There's
Okay.
another important thing, you know, the work created by his hands. That's what it tells you, and you think, well, it was
Mm.
hand built then, obviously.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, you know,
Uh-huh.
obviously bigger hands than we've got.
Right. Yeah.
Or you know, there's a lot of them doing it. You know, we don't know if there's one creator or many. When you look at scriptures and all the holy books, you're going to find there's multiple gods in there, and this is what they were accusing our ancestors of. You know, they're saying it's pagan worship, multiple gods. Well, every creation story you find is multiple gods.
Yep.
Same in the holy books. You know, you will find there's even the Bible. There's multiple gods in the Bible. Go and watch Mauro Bellino.
Mm.
He's the Vatican translator, and what he decodes out of Old Testament. He's told the world. He said there's technology in there that they're not putting in the Bible.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, he called the angels robots. He could see it was circuitry and technology he was actually translating.
Mm.
That's in his words, not mine.
Okay.
He came out about 6 months after me, saying the same thing. You know, there's technology going on here,
Right.
and I thought, wow, you know, how's that for coincidence?
Yeah. A lot of coincidences in this research.
Oh, they never end,
Yeah.
do they?
Do you think? I mean, there are efforts or attempts to. Well, I suppose when you're talking about the resets and things like that, then yes, there's technology there. And do you think it's very robust? I suppose it's eternal. I mean, could we ever have the power to mess with it? Do you think? Do you think there are entities or people that are really trying to control it, whether they can predict things or not, and then they can control the masses with their predictions, which is obviously what we've seen done throughout the history that we know of. Do you think they will actually get
That
to
is
control this?
that is my worry, Nick. You know, we have no idea what these people are doing.
Right.
What can be done? You know, what can be done with this technology? Obviously, now when you come to flat Earth, there's one of the questions from flat Earth. You know, why would they lie about the shape of the world? Well, you
Right.
know, if it's because it's technology, then pretty obvious they're going to hide it and steal it and do what they want with it.
That's a
You
good
know,
point.
I don't see anyone ever mentioning the technological revolution we're seeing.
Mm.
Look
Mm.
how we're advanced in technology in what, the last 100 years?
Right.
It's
Right.
amazing advances. You know, everyone mentions the industrial revolution. Well, they're not really paying much attention to the technological revolution from where I can see.
Yeah, well, this is what goes back to that point I was talking about with quantum computing. I mean, I haven't kind of paid too much heed to it, but according to this documentary I was watching just before, you know, this is the thing. What's happened with quantum computing? There's this suspicion that it's such a vast technological leap that we don't know how to handle it, and there seems to be evidence that it's got a life of its own. We're not talking
Mm.
about, you know, chat GPT kind of stuff. We're talking about the way quantum computing works, and how essentially, again, it kind of there's a connection with consciousness there, which maybe consciousness is created through the way these things are kind of work out. I mean, we're talking about.
I think that's what they're trying to do now, isn't it? You know, what they call an AI at the moment isn't actually really AI. When you study it, it's just a database, and
Right. Yeah.
and it's they've got it responding to keywords.
Yeah.
I used to have my Nightbot used to do that in my live stream. So
Yeah.
I used to tell it to scan the chat for keywords, and then it would put an answer. It would just randomly put an answer, something to do with that topic that was mentioned, picked up in the chat.
Yeah.
And what they call an AI is doing the same. So to me, it's a big database.
Right.
So it's not really what I would call AI. AI should be self. It should be like us. Self-aware, just a machine instead of a human being.
Yeah. Well, I think
I'm not seeing that.
yeah, we're not seeing it, but from what I was watching, that seems to be the fear that basically they've unleashed or have the potential to unleash something that can be self-aware, and again, it has so many connotations with what we're looking at here. This electrical system that creates these patterns. But yeah, where they're actually originating from and why things are that way is totally beyond us. But we are seeing these patterns.
And saying that, Nick, technology and us, we've always been together. We always, humans and technology. Take technology for human. They lost it. They missed it. Got to have our technology. Where is it? Where's my phone?
Yeah,
we seem to go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So there's a connection there. I think there's a very long-term and holding connection there to technology in the human genes.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, even the way, for example, the DNA helix is represented. I mean, that is just a representation or a model. It's not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily look like that, but there are, But this is the thing. I think that's what's really important for people to understand when they see your work here, is to understand that you haven't just made this up. You've taken things from the ancient cultures and the scriptures, and they correlate across the ages and across different cultures or civilizations, and then you've been able to put it onto this essentially a Mercator map. And then you've got this model. So maybe it'd be good. I mean, I think it's also good to talk about the fact that you mentioned that both the globe and the AE map, or the azimuthal projection map that all of us flat earthers will be familiar with, you consider both of those to be Pac-Man models, which are kind of misleading. So do you want to just try and break it down for the layman, someone who's new to this, what you mean by a Pac-Man model and how that relates to both of those maps?
Right. Yeah. No problem. It surprises me how many people don't realise what I mean by a Pac-Man model. So what we're looking at here, right? So you've got our map and grid there with the sun going across. Yeah. Now, if you look at the international date lines, look at Antarctica, you can see the two clear straight cuts down the side of the map going upwards. Now, that's where they've cut the Mercator map from its original size to this size, and then what they've done is wrap this around the ball, so east meets west. So that's what creates the globe, yeah?
Right. Okay.
So now you can see the globe has just got a sun going in circles around it. That's what that's what they've invented, and the same with the pizza maps. They've done the same. East and west is merged. They've hidden they've hidden the east and west directions. In fact, the cardinal directions don't even work on the pizza map. Both those models are designed to hide east and west.
That's a good point.
The pizza maps, wrap it round into a circle, and the globe is doing pretty much the same, because the map was cut at the datelines and wrapped around the ball to create Google Earth. East is now meeting west, whereas they're actually on opposite sides of the world. So we know Russia's in the east and America's in the west. Or the extreme points, Russia in the northeast and Alaska in the northwest there on that grid.
Right. It's funny,
So
isn't it?
you know,
Oh, go on.
so that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, when you open it out, you realise, wait a minute, you know, you can see what they've done. They've wrapped it into a circle. You know, the circular maps. That's what's creating a Pac-Man model, because it's just now just got everything going round in a circle.
Right.
And what I noticed, what I found in 2017, when I was looking at Flight Radar 24, up above Greenland there, I was capturing flights going from the northwest up over Greenland, and we're going down to like China and places like that. I've never seen anything like that on there before. And that's when I realised, oh, wait a minute, it makes sense. We cannot fly west to arrive in the east on a level plane. How could we? It is not a Pac-Man world.
Right.
So, you know, World War II was all about taking control of the perimeters, the North and South treaties, and East and West international date lines, and controlling air and shipping. So no one is crossing the international date lines. And I've said this for over 7 years, and I've said to the Globers, you know, for you to debunk this, I'll happily debunk it and scrap it if you can prove to me you crossed the Pacific with GPS proofs. You've got to be able to fly west and arrive in the east. I mean, how could you? You know, that's a Pac-Man world. It's not reality. On a level plane, it would be impossible.
Right. Right. I'm just.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you, Nick?
It does now. You know, obviously, it was a bit. I must admit, it was something that I wouldn't say struggled with, but just had to take the time to get my head around where you're coming from there. I'm just bringing up the flight radar. Oops. Oh, my scroll is not very.
Yes, so you can see the international date line there, but when it comes in between Russia and Alaska, you can see that black line. That's the international date line where they've cut the map to to create the globe with. So anything flying across that line going west is not real. It's the data's been flipped. Now, if you see that one that's going up towards the north, oh yeah, look up there towards Greenland. There's a few up there now.
Yeah, hang on. Let me just try and if I can move this about a bit.
Right. And this is what I found 7 or 8 years ago. I noticed that, you know, they've got these ones that can cross the international date line. And then if you look carefully, the ones up going in the north there, these are the rail routes. You know, they have to fly up there. They're faking the globe by flying up over Alaska, Greenland, and then they come down through Russia into, you know, places like in the Far East. Yeah, see them flights up there. That's what I caught them doing 7 or 8 years ago. That's the only route you can use to cross the map in the north. This is why Trump wants Greenland and Canada. It'd be easy for them to fake the flights.
I see. Okay.
You know, what's really going on here with, you know, the politics of it is they're all grabbing sovereignty. They're stealing sovereignty of nations so they can go in and control and, you know, fake this. Yes, you know, see the paths there with the black lines. Those black dotted lines are manipulation.
Okay. Yeah,
manipulated data. If you play a one that's crossed the international date lines, go left a bit. Because you know, that's same again. Pac-Man. You know, how can the tip of Russia, northeast Russia, be just across the water from Africa? It's impossible. You would need a globe for it to work. And we don't live on a ball, so you know this is where they cut the map and wrap it round to make the globe.
I see. Yeah, I must admit.
There is land mass in the northwest. Like I said in the chat, in the comments on the video, it's that Plain Truth guy. You know, he posted 2 links to 2 videos to say it debunks APM research. Well, it doesn't. I debunked them on my channel. Because a flight took off from Alaska and it flew to that landmass that they call in Russia across the international date lines. Now the flight there, the guy, there was no compass in the plane. I couldn't see a compass. But once he got there and it sat on the runway, I noticed there was a compass sitting on the dashboard. And the compass told me it was definitely in the northwest. Now, how this is where it all falls apart for them. How can, you know, yes, there's landmass in the northwest, but that means it's not northeast Russia then, doesn't it? Because that Russia is in the northeast. The compass was facing the wrong way for it to be Russia.
Okay. So can you see the one I've got up right now? This is apparently going from Seoul to Anchorage. So what would you say is actually happening there then?
Right, that's impossible. That flight is impossible because, the landmass it's flying towards is to the west, not the east.
Hmm.
They can't fly, they can't fly east to arrive in the west and vice versa on a flat plane. This is where the globe wraps around and makes east meet west. So what they really have to be doing is flying up over Russia and going east. Not west. You can't go west. They cannot cross that line there because they go in the wrong direction. If you can scroll the map left to the right a bit, so we can see what's towards the east, the west. Sorry.
Oh, towards the west. Okay.
Yeah, if you can move the map a bit now, we know that's fake. That line down the middle is fake. You cannot cross there to go to the other side of the world. Because that's where the Pac-Man. That's the Pac-Man join right there. That's where east meets west. This is where they cut the map and wrapped it around to create the globe.
Okay. So
like it says on our map, when you open it up, it creates. You can even get a poster of this. The real world map is actually the correct map. Mercator map, where east is east and west in west, and never the twain shall meet, apart from in the centre.
Right. So just to be clear, you're saying that this flight.
Yeah, that's having its data flipped to appear to cross the international datelines.
Okay.
In reality, it would have to go up to its left somewhere. Where's it going? Alaska, right? So it'd have to fly up over Greenland, going east.
I see.
Sorry, west.
Right.
West. Yeah, it's going the wrong direction.
So
It'd have to fly across the map the other way to get there.
All right. So you're not. Okay. So you're not saying that the flight doesn't exist, but the data is
just the data's been flipped. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
They're flipping the data to appear to cross the international date lines when in reality they would have to cross the map, go in the opposite direction to get there, because west to west and east east. So you look, that's flying from somewhere in the Far East.
Uh-huh.
So to go west, it's going to have to go west, isn't it? So anyway, if it's wanting to go to some location west, it's going to have to go west to get there. Because if you think it's going that way, then you need a globe to make that work.
Right.
Because that's what the globe is doing. It's wrapping it round to meet there, isn't it? That's what you call a Pac-Man map.
Okay.
The globe and pizza maps do the same thing. They're both hiding east and west. How it really works. So on a flat plane, Nick, you can't just keep teleporting land masses from the east to the west to make it work. The States is, west of you is the States, don't you?
It's supposed to be, yeah.
The west, yeah. I know it's west of me, and I know Australia's east of me. I'm in UK, so I know where both directions.
Uh-huh.
So I know if I wanted to go to Australia, I would have to fly east, and to the States, I would have to fly west. Because, we're roughly near the middle of the centre of the map. So we can see what's going on from both sides of the world.
So in a case like this one, for example, I've got, this is going from Los Angeles to Hangzhou.
Yeah, it's another fake one. It has, to get there, he's going to have to go to his right, not left. Because now he's crossing a fake international date line that's wrapping landmass around here. It's what they're doing is teleporting landmass from the east to the west to make it work. We know that isn't west of the Americas.
Okay.
Is Japan the land of the eastern rising sun or the western setting sun?
Okay, yeah. That is, I suppose, yeah. When you, it's difficult to, but yeah, basically you're saying that we should really, where that date line is, we should kind of like take a pair of scissors and cut it, yeah. And
if you cut that and open it back up, you've got the world map. Because what they're doing here is they're just teleporting landmass from the east to the west to make out as though it's flying across to go in there, but it can't. It's impossible.
I see. I'm going to try and.
If you kept scrolling left now, what's going to happen, Nick? You keep dragging. Yeah, you're going to keep seeing the same landmasses appear, aren't you? It's like a cartoon.
True. Yeah, it's
kind of, that is not reality, is it?
No, that's
we
true.
Can't just be. That's what I'm saying. By they're moving land masses from the west to the east or the east to the west to make this look like it can work. On a globe, it would work, but we don't live on a globe.
That's definitely true. Yeah,
So this
yeah.
is how they've tricked people into Pac-Man. You know, the world is a Pac-Man model designed to hide north, south, east, and west. In reality,
Right.
that's, you know, like I said, with what happened with World War Two, the north and south treaties and east and west datelines. That's what came from it, and that's, to me, that's how they secured the perimeters to fake the globe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is it. I mean, we've got obviously we there's the issue with the north to south anyway. As you say, with this one, then this kind of was it the
See, we've got used to doing, you know, this for so long. We've not realised what we're doing. We're just teleporting landmasses east and west to make it work, which it's not. That's not reality we live in.
right?
Yeah. So, and you know, the globe does have accuracy, but only because it's using the map we're using. At ground level, it is the Mercator map with no distortion. So when you're in Google Earth and you're at street level, it is the Mercator map with zero distortion applied.
Right.
As you start to zoom out, the algorithms in Google Earth start to round the images off. So eventually, when you zoom out, you've got a ball-shaped thing. You know, that's how they actually created the globe. So
Right.
this is all the globe. This is all the globers have got. We've got the Mercator map in Google Earth with some algorithms. That's all they've got, Nick. They don't have a globe. They've got Google Earth and a Mercator
Right.
map and some algorithms. That's what they're claiming to live on.
Yeah, that's all any of us have, isn't it? We've got these. Yeah, it's very difficult to confirm. There's so many things we can't confirm.
People always say, I've seen them, avoid maps and models. Well, no, we shouldn't. You know, we live in a world where we can fly around and we can validate or avoid maps and models easily done. You know, get on a flight, take GPS it, look at your compass, you'll soon figure out, you know, the map works or it doesn't.
Right.
And this map, you know, this map works apart from the international dateline cuts.
Right.
So, and I know there was a pizza channel, I can't remember which channel it was. He got an email off a flight controller, and the controller told him they were flipping the data, and the guy had no idea what he was talking about. So it didn't make any sense to him because he's already got a pizza map. Datelines, and I just keep debunking him and showing him, look, I've already debunked that with this. You know, I show him the video on my channel. But they just keep repeating the same nonsense, like I haven't debunked it, but you know, it debunks it as far as I'm concerned. They can't prove to me they crossed into the Pacific.
Right.
How can you? You would need a globe to do that.
Yeah.
So, you know, the ocean in the west and the ocean in the east are two separate oceans. And if you look at the join on Google Earth, you'll see the two seas are actually different colours where they join.
Two different colours.
Yeah. Yeah, you look at the ocean where the international dateline join is, where they made it a Pac-Man world, you'll see the two oceans are a different colour.
Ah, right. Yeah. Okay. What I'm not going to do is I won't open up the browser on this one because we got cut off just when we was talking about the. All right, Blood. We got Zoo Scott. Hello, Blood's back in. So okay, you.
How to fish with eels.
Yeah. So hopefully that will please the algorithms. Yeah. Oh dear. Well, yeah, I've no idea. Maybe, you know, this is it. I mean, it is a touchy subject, and obviously we know that whatever we do, this is why. I mean, I thought about this a lot about putting my face on camera and things like that, and I thought, sod it, you know, because no matter what you do, if someone wants to find you, they will. You know, and I mean, I know. I didn't realise at first that we would be such a target, but obviously, the more you get into this, the more you realise how.
Well, yeah, we're getting closer to home, so they're not going to like it.
Yeah.
You know, home. That's what we're all looking for, isn't it? Our home. What is it?
Yeah.
What the hell is it that we live on? We want to know what our home is. You know, that's our birthright.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a real. I mean, it's difficult to even get to that point where you realise that, you know, we are sovereign, and you know how that's been given up. And hi, David. Thanks for coming back. And Jack's dreaming. Jason. All right. Yeah. So we're talking about fishing for eels. Very bland subject here. Nothing to do with anything else. No conspiratorial stuff here at all, ever. All right, we're keeping it very. Yeah. So hopefully
No medical misinformation, nothing.
Yeah,
we're
nothing.
we're just fishing for eels today.
Yeah, nothing of the sort. Yeah. But
wouldn't that be funny now if because you've renamed it, they leave it alone? Wouldn't that be funny?
we'll see. Yeah. But yeah, we should be absolutely free to explore creation, and it's funny, but I mean, this is the thing that gives the game away, isn't it? When you start talking about this, people get so irate that's one of the biggest clues that we are talking about something where people have fallen into a belief system and things like that. So as you said, you fully understand how difficult it is for people to get away from these things, and that's all we've ever been presented.
We've got to stop repeating nonsense we can't prove. That's what we've been doing. We've done that all our lives. They put something on TV. You'll go to work or school or whatever, and you'll repeat it like it was true. That's all we've ever done.
Yeah.
But we can't prove any of it, and neither can they.
No.
That's what makes me laugh. We can challenge them, and they cannot. They can't prove their claims. We know that now.
Right. Yeah.
So, we're in the driver's seat here, Nick. We're all in the driver's seat in this arena, challenging mainstream, and they've thrown everything that they've got at us to try and stop it.
Yeah.
There's probably worse to come down the line, but so far we're doing a good job.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah. I mean, obviously they do a very good job of just keeping people dumbed down, I suppose, and there are continuing efforts to make it even worse. I mean, when you look at, I think a lot of the time, when you, for example, you guys, you're doing your research, and it's something that does come from the heart. It's something that we know has to be done because we know we've been duped.
We do it with a passion. Yeah, there's a part in APM research. There's a passion I haven't ever seen before, including in myself.
Right.
This is really exciting information.
Yeah.
We're uncovering topics and scraping the surface of something that's been hidden for a very long time from us.
Yeah.
They've kept it. They've gone well out of the way to hide what this world is and how it works. That's what it's all about, people.
So what do you? I mean, okay. So it does come to that question: why would they lie? Why would they hide it? What's wrong with us knowing how this place works, or the kind of place we're in? Because it's still vast. I mean, there's so much. What ultimately is there a utopia that is there that's kind of kept out of reach, or what do you think?
Yeah, well, when it comes to like maps and models, I've seen people challenge stationary flat Earth for saying, well, what's your land sitting on? What's it on top of? My response to that's always going to be this, and Jason would like me for this, and I can't prove it. But here's my response to that statement. If we have to be living on an infinite plane. The reason being, how can the sky and landmass have an edge? And if it did, that puts you right back to a globe type scenario of something floating in fake space. It's ridiculous. We can't do it. So I would always say it's possibly an infinite plane. I can't prove it, but common sense tells me that's what we're looking at.
Right.
Otherwise, you're back to floating in floating in fake space, which we know is impossible. Yeah. So the ground is the land. The land is the ground. There's nothing propping it up in fake space. The land is the land. That's it.
Right. Yeah. And this is it. I mean, any kind of thought experiment or whatever, it has a limit. Whether it's there's just even when you just try to contemplate eternity, we just can't. It is totally mysterious. Sorry, there's a comment from David Banner there. Maybe those other folk on other lands don't want to have us there. that's that's a good point. I mean, we're not the
Oh,
night.
well, you know, those sorry, those folk on the other lands are probably getting the same harassment we are because they're trying to hide it there as well. Who knows? You know, we have no idea. We have no idea what's going on outside of this map, have we?
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, we're
Yeah,
guessing.
yeah,
We're guessing at what's beyond what we're seeing on
uh-huh,
the screen.
uh-huh, yeah,
But what we do know, you know, this is why they Pac-Manned it, Nick. Look where the luminaries, you know, east and west has been hidden because where the luminaries come from and go to. Now, this is always going to be APM's investigation here on what's happening there with the luminaries. They're coming from somewhere from the east. They're going west. Now, what they do when they get west is what's very important because they have to get back to east to start again. And what we've been trying to do for the last 8 years is find these routes where the luminaries get back to start again at the east because they have to get everything that's in the sky has to get back east to start again,
right,
don't they? You know,
yeah,
to make
yeah.
it work. And that's always going to be our, you know, our avenue of research.
I see.
That's why the international datelines, I think they've cut them because, you know, it looks to me how I've modelled this. They take off from somewhere several thousand miles east of New Zealand, say, travel across the map, shut down or whatever they're doing, and they have to get back east. Now, the 24-hour sun in the north, there's plenty of data shows it does it for a few months a year, not just 1 month. It goes on for months. And when you look at what they're showing from the south with this TFE, it's the same. It's the same thing, equal but opposite. Because what you're going to find, what we've done with this grid, the north part of the grid, look at the gates in the east. You know, these gates are portals in the east that have synced with real world data here. Now, each one of them dots, where you see the green, that's a different month each. So the zodiac is actually created by the configuration of these gates. So that's where the zodiac come from. That was a new one for me. I thought, wow, I've decoded what creates the zodiac. The configuration of these gates. So I had to try and work out a sequence of it moving up and down there that made any sense. And it does make sense now how I've got it. And this is how the days get shorter and longer. If you look at the angle, the angle of them gates to one another. And that is actually referenced in the Book of Enoch. The gates and the angles to one another are actually referenced in the Book of Enoch. And I thought, wow, how can the Book of Enoch be referencing something from the Nazca lines? That's the same. They're talking about the same thing, aren't they?
Right, yeah. So along with the Nazca lines, we've got depictions of animals and things like that. So do you think it's right to assume that they represent constellations?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done any constellation work and I can't prove that, but yes, you know, we're looking at constellations and different frequencies because, you know, you notice that the Nazca lines, you've got birds and you've got land animals and then you've got sea mammals as well. So, you know, your high, medium and low frequencies or subsonic frequencies even can be covered by using those type animals. And you know, like accelerator research, and probably jumping a bit far ahead here, going into the lunar waves and such. You know, we know there's halos in the sky, that get revealed at certain times, or if there's a luminary pass in the background, you will capture it. So you know, we're seeing transparent stationary luminaries in the heavens above cities, and they can be revealed as a luminary passes. And you know, that's the top and bottom. You've got a physical technology below and its effects above, and these are some of the effects we actually see from how it works.
Right.
Because we're getting back onto the technological aspect of it now, because that is a big part of our research. How proving this technology, trying to evidence it in nature, and explain it, where it actually makes sense. And when we explain it, like in holy books, it mentions the windings in the sky. Well, how can we have windings in the sky? Well, that's the spiral. We'll go back to the spiral again, the spiraling pressure wave coming from these halos.
Right, I see. Yeah.
Which, this is how Taurus fields get created.
Okay.
There's another good thing for APM research. A lot of people always talk about Taurus fields, and then they'll wander off and tell you all kinds about Taurus fields, but not one of them can ever tell you how it even gets created.
That's true. Yeah.
We can.
Okay.
All it takes is 2 counter-rotating coils, which is what CERN is doing.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
To make an electromagnetic field, all you need is two counter-rotating coils. And that
Okay.
would create an electromagnetic field. Now, on the scale we're talking, that would have to have a signature in nature, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Which is where the rainbow comes from. The
Right.
rainbow, we're not mapping the rainbow itself. The rainbow is an effect. The cause of the rainbow is this electromagnetic field below the rainbow. That's what
Okay.
we're actually mapping. We're up with the, to us, the Taurus fields that create the nature in your locale.
I'm
Now,
s-
I want you to go. I'm probably jumping ahead of where we were, am I?
just no. I know that we're kind of. It's kind of. Yeah. Because I was just kind of thinking. Okay. We've. I wanted to make sure there's a kind of understanding of what you mean. So let's. Okay. First of all, let's just have a look at these circles and or these concentric circles. What do they represent?
They represent to me the stars. If you look at the outer larger one, right?
Yeah.
There's you can see North Star at the top and the Southern Cross one at the bottom. Say,
Okay.
now if I was to revolve that from those two pivot points, east to west, at such a rate, it would leave the star pattern in the sky, wouldn't it?
Or just rotating them, you mean?
Yeah, if it's revolving east to west from the pivot points in the north and south. In
Okay.
fact, it is an easy way, Nick. Grab a skipping rope, right?
Yeah.
Face west and start skipping.
Right.
That's what the stars are doing. That motion we're seeing from the skipping rope is what the stars do every day, right? So your right hand would be your north pole and your left hand would be your south pole.
Mm-hmm.
Now this also debunks a globe because that's what the stars are actually doing. I've modelled this and it addresses all the star trails motion. It works perfectly.
Okay.
So there is no counter rotation of stars in the south, which debunks a globe, because they're all revolving east to west. Get a skipping ropes, skipping face west. That's exactly the star rotation. We are inside that rotation. That's why people get confused looking north or looking south. No, don't look north or south. Just look west. Grab a skipping rope, start skipping. You will see your hands making the exact same rotational motions as the star trails are doing in the north and south. That debunks the globe and pizza maps. Stars don't work on the pizza maps, by the way. They get broken in the south.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if they, I'm saying that they're stars, they might not be. Whatever they are, that's the configuration of them. I've got them on this grid, and if I revolved them, it would do exact same motion as I just mentioned with a skipping rope. So they could be what creates stars. I don't know. I have no idea how many dots go around these. That's just an image I used with X amount of dots on. To get the real amount of dots, I would need to know how many star trails there are.
Okay.
And then put all them dots around the outer one, so we get the
Okay.
same amount of numbers.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mentioned that in the video. If someone tells me how many star trails there are between the North Pole and the South Pole, and then all we have to do then is double it, and then we've got the correct amount of stars in the sky for that one anyway.
Yeah.
Here's another good thing, Nick. Notice on that halo, right, that outer one, you've got small nodes and big nodes. Yeah, you see them small, big, small, big. And you look at the stars in the north; they're exactly the same. The star trails in the north, you'll see thin, small ones and thicker, larger ones.
Right.
Is that another coincidence? Have a look at that carefully, and you'll see what I mean.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This is it. I mean, you do when you look at.
There is a sequence of small, large, small, large, small, large, as you see them spiraling out from from Polaris.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know that it does appear to be something that's kind of separate. It is very difficult to kind of envisage, regardless of what kind of map you're looking at. So, yeah, I like your analogy though, the skipping rope one.
Yeah, it's an easy one, and that does show you there is no counter rotation in the south,
Right.
and that works perfect. Like I said, I've animated it, and the star trees we see in the sky, it matches them perfectly. So that skipping rope analogy is a perfect way of explaining what's happening, and we're inside that rotation, wondering what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if we're talking about electromagnetism, then basically there has to be kind of, I suppose, the way we see it is there are. Okay. for a moment you talked about the Taurus. So obviously things could be when you talk about a Taurus, do you mean that we're kind of in the middle and there's a top and a bottom, there's things above and below, or
Yeah, the way I mean Taurus field, what I mentioned it there, is like sticking out of the ground. We've got a half sphere sticking out the ground with a rainbow over the top of it.
right?
That's that's half of a Taurus field sticking out the ground, because the other half's obviously down below somewhere.
Right. Okay.
And that's what you're going to find with your rainbows. Do you want me to get into rainbows now, or leave that for a bit later?
No, that's cool. We could, but just obviously, yeah. Juniper in the chat just mentioned a positive and negative charge. So yeah, ultimately, that's kind of what we're talking about, isn't it? We've got this kind of if you're talking about electromagnetism, which is something that we can obviously, to an extent, recreate.
Yeah. Well, I suppose we can a quick jump back to creation stories. Your Adam and Eve, have actually decoded it as being, it represents male, female, positive, negative, or electromagnetism.
Right.
So Adam, the Eve, the apple, and the snake is a small halo being Adam, the large halo being Eve. The apple is the Taurus field, and the snake is the way it interfaces within the app. Interface, as in like what you see with tornadoes and waterspouts. That's what we're calling interface events.
Okay.
Okay. And if you look at the way I decoded the Adam, Eve, apple, and snake, you'll see how it creates the Taurus field, which also elevates the poles on the halo that's creating it. And this is what we're seeing in the sky. These lunar waves are the effect of this technology doing that procedure.
Right. So okay, we've got movement, and this is creating changes in pressure. And okay, you talk about pressure as not necessarily. Okay, there are changes.
Oh yeah, pressure. Good topic, Nick, because we can get onto the dome now, can't we?
So you essentially see this as having a dome, yeah?
No, it doesn't actually need one. It doesn't need one.
Right.
No.
Okay.
Because these halos create the pressure system and all the noble gases and elements. So there's no requirement for a dome. So there's nothing. There's no containment. It doesn't need containment because it's them creating the pressure. Like if you see a halo over the sea, when that switches on, that's going to push the tide out. That electrical pressure is going to push the tide out. This is what's creating tides.
Okay.
And if you look at tides, there are times the 6 hours the tide will go out, it comes back in. This is pressure changes from these halos are doing what they do.
Right. Okay. So halos. So
no dome is required. The dome model. The dome comes with the pizza maps. I've never agreed with them. There's no proof of a dome. You don't actually need one. They say they need it for a pressure system. Well, we don't in our model. This electromagnetic technology creates all these pressures.
I see.
Electric and magnetism. There's a good video on Roy's channel, Vinny St. Vincent. That was the first time Wade noticed it. When he was playing with electrical wire, you could see the water reacting to it. It was trying to move away from it. Right. Which is, this is what you're seeing with the sea. The seas are reacting to this technology. That's why they're never at rest unless they switched off.
Okay.
There's constant motion being created by this technology. It's spiraling pressure waves, and that's what you call them waves that we see on the seas and in the air.
Right.
So wind and waves now can have an answer.
Yeah.
And tides. And tides. I mean, it answers a lot more than people realise. You'd have to go through all our videos to see what we've been putting out and
right. Sure. Yeah.
Working with over the years. There's that many topics now, I can't remember them all.
Yeah, you've done a lot, and I think this is the thing, isn't it? When you come into this, then you do have to change everything that we've assumed to be true. Just kind of start from a clean slate. But electromagnetism.
That's what we did. That's what we did from the start. We said we've got to throw everything away we think we know, start again, and see what we can get out of it. And that's kind of how our research went. And it's answering a lot more questions than we've got more answers than questions. We've answered a lot of people's questions that they haven't even thought of yet. We know we've put work out there that people haven't formulated a question to even relate to that work yet. They're not, they haven't come across this work, so they don't know that topic exists, kind of thing.
Okay, so do you think it's okay? I did want to cover obviously halos and rainbows, but just to kind of on the kind of the physical nature first. I mean, do you think there should be some effort to explore now if we look at this map, the far
definitely.
west, the far
Yes.
north, and yeah.
Yeah, because now we've got an idea what's going on at the datelines. It would be easy to catch them out, wouldn't it? That's why you want anyone that's their flights are legends across the international datelines, GPS it, take a compass with you, and let us know what you find. Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find the real paths.
Right.
We know they can't go east and west and north and south to get outside of the map to cross it to the other side. So they have to, there's hidden flight routes. We know there's some in the north. And the Globers did try and debunk us once. They flew from Australia to South America. Well, it was a straight line west, Nick. They didn't fly east to get there. They had to fly west. So I would say straight away, why didn't you go east? Because you can't. Right. You'd have to, it's a Pac-Man, so you can't. So you have to fly west from Australia to get to South America, which they did. And it was a straight line west. It was a straight line west flight.
So you're saying even if sorry just to get some clarity there.
Yeah,
so even if it might, well, yeah, I get it now, because on a Pac-Man globe or flat or AE map, then you're doing a constant east or a constant west, but actually, even if that's represented as an east or a west on a map, the actual direction you might be flying might not correlate to the east or west. That's
you can't. Like I said, like that example there. Australia to South America. The only way they can go to it is west. If they flew east, they would carry on going to where the sun's coming from. In our model, it's gone out. It's gone beyond the international date lines and over these somewhere.
Right.
That's where Amelia Earhart's flight went missing.
That's right. I remember you mentioning that last chat. Yeah. So
so to me, that was in 1937. So to me, she triggered World War II, which started in 1939, which is when they started planting flags at Antarctica. But World War II was triggered. They realised people's now got access to aircraft. They can fly any direction they want, and they better put a stop to it. Cue World War II. Cue World War II, because it was controlling these perimeters. That's what they did.
Yeah. That seems to be.
Because isn't it funny? All these people that's against each other in the world, Russia and America. It's a good cop, bad cop routine. They're on the same team. Space agencies, nuclear industry, and particle accelerators. They're all working together.
Right.
Because this technology and those departments are all related to hiding the world and how it really works.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think their ultimate goal really is with the particle accelerators then?
Well, to us, they're already here. These are the creators' glory, and for them to steal them, they have to pretend they're building them and doing whatever they say they're doing with them. How many alleged particle colliders do we need to collide particles? Because it seems you can buy them on eBay now. There's that many popping up. They've got 30,000. Really? Honest Abdul sells them on eBay. I'm sure he does. Why does everyone need a particle accelerator all of a sudden? No, this is if you want to steal the creator's glory and enslave the world, this is the only way you can do it. You have to close the world off using the international datelines and North and South treaties, and then start pretending you're building this technology down below when actually you're really just painting it up and redressing it and monitoring it and telling lies.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing. This is how serious it gets now, because that's what we're looking at. At the end of the day, someone built this, and they deserve their credit for it.
Right, that's true. Yeah. So when
and like we were talking about earlier, there's no magic wand here. It's built by hand. How was it built? How can we science it? Yes, we can. This is exactly what we've been doing for the last 8 years. We're sciencing this technology and what it's really doing.
Okay, so.
We just didn't realise it was on a the scale we're looking at is huge. We didn't realise it was such a big scale, but it is.
It is massive, yeah. I mean, there's still places that are obviously unexplored.
Going back to exploration, I would say go east of New Zealand several thousand miles, and you will see where the sun and the luminaries are coming from. Onto that grid there that we're using, that's where they're coming from.
Right.
Now what you're seeing happening there, that I sync that with the sunrise angles from time and date for New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
So, this is real world data I'm using so people can check the sunrise angles and everything themselves. We're not pulling the wool over anyone's eyes. We're using what data we've got access to make this work and make sense, which is what you're seeing on the screen now. This is,
Okay.
this has got to this point where we can animate this quite easily and show how this is where the sun is in June. Now it's in July. You can see now that the days are going to get longer.
Mm-hmm.
Now they say our summer's the shortest days and the equinox is no, they say the summer's the longest days and the equinox is the shortest, don't they? That's actually back to front if you look at this grid.
Okay.
The longest days are the equinoxes and the shortest are the solstices. So they're even telling us that back to front.
Okay.
We wouldn't know that because they're outside of the datelines. You can't see it, but we can prove that, Nick, because if you look at where the sun is at now, you time the sun going past you in the morning, right? Come summer, do it again, and you're going to find there's a massive difference between where it is at those times of day. And that's because of how it's working its way up and down this gate sequence. So in winter, we see it sooner, and in spring, we see it later. Now, you'll have heard people say the sun or the moon speeds up and slows down. This is exactly why. It's not speeding up or slowing down. It's got further to travel or shorter distances to travel, depending on what it is on the gate sequence.
That makes sense. Yeah. Doesn't necessarily have to be going. Yeah, it's just
and here's another thing with that. Connected to that, the how they mess about with the times. The daylight savings.
Right.
They're trying to compensate to hide this by adding and removing an hour's time, because you are going to see a big difference in time between spring and summer of where you see it in the sky. Come summer, when you look at the grid now on there, and you look at June's the top left one on that east gate, it's going to arrive sooner and exit sooner, whereas the ones in the equinox is going to arrive much later because it's got a longer distance to travel. We can prove that. We've seen it do it.
Okay.
Because when you get up in winter, you say, "Oh, the sun's." You get up and you think, "Well, the sun's there already." Normally, it's further back east. Yeah, because it's moving up and down this grid sequence to do what it's supposed to be doing or be where it's supposed to be.
Right. It's more a case of it being further away, got longer to travel than.
Yeah. And there's obviously front gates and rear gates, which I'm marked on there. Now, in the Book of Enoch, he does mention that the sun uses 6 gates.
Oh,
well, if you look at the equator, Nick, what this configuration of grid is doing, it's giving the north 6 gates and it's giving the south 6 gates. So each of those gate sequences either side of the equator is giving the north and south equal but opposite seasons. That can only be by design. That's the perfect design. That's the north's autumn and the south's spring.
Okay.
So we've got equal and opposite seasons in the north and south taking place due to the configuration of this grid. It has to be by design. It's so perfect.
Sure. It's funny. They give us this idea of a Goldilocks zone and all that stuff. It's just, and that's probably, once you get to that realization that it's intelligent design and we can describe it, we can observe it, we can like you've done, map it to an extent, but
and like I said, you will notice that easily. The arrival of the sun, the timing of it between summer and between the solstice and equinox is a big difference in time where that sun is in the sky.
Okay.
And this configuration of grid answers that.
Right. Okay.
As does the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch goes into detail about the gates and the timing and the lightening and darkening of days.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty amazing how it comes together, that part of it.
Okay, so back on to angels. What do you actually mean by angels? Or let's just go there.
Right. What they're calling angels, or that's our culture. We have what we call angels. You look around the world, there's other cultures got names for things, and people don't know what they relate to. So you got like Anunnaki, cherubim, seraphim, all these strange names that no one knows what it refers to. Is it a people? What is it? So to us they are personifications of this technology. So what you find in what they've done in books is they personified the technology to actually help explain it, either being a male or a female, positive, negative, left-hand rule, right-hand rule. It all comes down to electromagnetism. So they are personifications, especially when you look at stained glass windows. You will see characters with like a halo behind the head.
Yeah.
Right, the halo is the technology, and the person is a personification of that technology, is what I decoded.
Okay.
They give it a female character, like Mary, say, and then they'll tell a story. Same with the male character. There's a story that follows that personification, and it's all down to trying to tell you how this world works, or how that particular angel works. Depends what the story is you're looking at.
Right.
Because what you're going to find is you've got your local angels, and then your national or international ones, like the sun, that would be an international angel going, across the map. So every culture is going to be aware of it and have a story for it. Then you've got your local hero ones, which come into your creation stories. You're going to see more of that soon. We're going to bring them to life. But you've got your local ones, which will have local, like hero tales and things like that. Glyphs, myths, legends, things like that will be associated with this local one because it's local and known, or it was at the time anyway. Thanks to indoctrination, we've got all that. But yeah, you had your local ones and your national and international.
Okay.
Now how they work? Oh, I should have said, like say in the morning the sun rises and it's coming towards you in your locale. Your grid of angels is going to be activated and come on to support these in a supporting role. Every morning they're going to switch on. You're going to see clouds rising in the distance, going up, and these are clouds are caused by this technology. These are Eve's columns that she sends up to Adam. Adam being the anode in the sky, Eve's the cathode in the ground, and Adam's the halo in the sky. He sends her columns up to Adam, who flattens the top of them. This is how they structure the layers. So you've got columns of cloud going up. So there's your vertical magnetism, right? Magnetism's got vertical polarity in the troposphere. The tropopause, just above that, is where the electrode flips 90 degrees, and that's what creates that layer. This is Adam creating a layer flipped over 90 degrees in opposition to Eve. So anything he's outputting is now going spiraling outwards, horizontally. So we've got vertical columns going up and the horizontal plane spreading out. If you look at clouds drifting by in the sky, you'll see different layers doing it. You'll see them, they're all going in different directions.
True. Yeah.
That's the male layer, doing what it does. So what it makes is a shape like a cross. This is where your crucifix comes from. The vertical bar of a crucifix is Eve's electromagnetic polarity, and the horizontal bar of the crucifix is Adam's electric plane.
I see.
So your crucifix represents the structuring of the layers. That's what it actually represents.
Okay.
It's like a T-shape. T-shape.
Right. Yeah.
But it's depicted as a cross. So, yeah, because it does go up through it, and this is the Vesica Pisces. The vertical bar is where the Vesica Pisces gets created.
Go on. Sorry.
I was going to say, where two halos overlap, you've got an eye shape, haven't you? That's the Vesica Pisces where they overlap. And that's where you're going to find tornadoes and water spouts are actually doing a lot of the action. You're going to see two flows going in opposite directions within each other. This is the interface event of Adam and Eve. Okay. This is how they generate electric and create elements. It's a lot to take in, but there's a video we made to show how that takes place in the atmosphere. And like I says, water spouts and tornadoes, we've got to work in tornado theory with this technology now.
I see. Yeah. Well, yeah, you take the physical phenomena that you see and that is real, and you see what you can make of it. Sorry, I just wanted to say that the way, it's funny, isn't it, the way the stories are given, or the halos are given personification. It reminds me of how, for example, what's that martial art that was disguised as a dance because it was performed by slaves who didn't want the slave owners to know that they were actually practicing a fighting technique? It's one of those. Do you know the you know what I mean? But it's
Is that the Gundam one? Is it?
I can't remember. It's some kind of again I can't remember where it comes from, but it's I suppose this is ultimately what we're maybe talking about here. Why do they have to personify it? Is it a way of kind of putting that message out there, saying it, but without saying what it actually is? Because it has to be secret.
They're expressing something. I see what you mean now. Yeah. It's another expression of this, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Because that's what you're going to notice that, Nick. When you start looking at our research, we do good sacred geometry, and you're going to start seeing it. You're going to see it in jewelry, it's on coinage.
Right.
It's in movies, it's in songs, dances. It just keeps popping up everywhere. The more you learn of our research, the more you start to see it everywhere, and you get to a point you think, how did we miss all this before? We see it's blatant, obvious now.
Yeah.
That it's all expressions of this technology and how it works.
Yeah. When you look at in English we kind of call it feng shui, but in the kind of Chinese way they call it hong zhui, don't they? Where for example, you see it a lot in Thailand because there's a massive Chinese influence in Thailand, but you might have a kind of lion with its outside an entrance. You've got a lion with its paw on one of these geometric. What do they call that? That kind of infinite, the kind of three-dimensional mandala. You know what I mean?
Yeah, an analema thing.
Yeah, it's like like that. It's geometric sphere, but it's made up of all these, I suppose, triangles or interconnected.
Right. Yeah.
But you'll have there's a meaning depending on which paw is on this thing. But that would come down to being like right hand rule or left hand rule, which is electricity or magnetism. Your right and left hand rules are going to, in this case, it's going to refer to electro or magnetism, one or the other. Yeah. Okay.
That is a real electrical terminology, right hand rule and left hand rule. It's down to it's showing you the flow and where magnetism would be in opposition to that flow. Which creates, like it says, it's 90 degrees in opposition, so it creates that T shape, which is a cross.
Right.
The sacred cross, it decodes the sacred cross, doesn't it? And all these crosses decode the same. So it's more expressions of this technology, revealing itself.
Right.
But a lot of people, people depict all these things, and they don't realize what they're depicting no more. But this is what it's depicting. It's relating to this technology. It's not a religion. Religion was introduced into our side of the world after the Roman invasion, somewhere around 400 AD. It's an alien belief system, not of our lands. It's an Abrahamic belief system. We didn't have a belief system before they came. We understood how this world worked before they came, because all this sacred geometry I'm decoding is telling me so.
Right.
We all knew what it all meant at some point in history, yet we've all forgot now. Yet you'll notice these people depict it everywhere, and people call it satanic. Well, no, that's just, these words are there to scare you away from it so you don't look at it. They like to desecrate and scare you, desecrate or scare you away from it so you don't look and query it. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Same with the rainbow. They desecrated the rainbow by association. You see how they do it now, can't they?
Let's move on to that. The kind of your kind of research into rainbows and how maybe other people can help contribute, because that's something that's kind of at the forefront of your mind at the moment, isn't it? Or your research, right?
It makes it so easier to, we can bypass a lot of the flat earth minefields, introducing them to our work just by doing the rainbow research. And then, the flat earth can come later. How it works is more important to me than the shape of it, because I don't think anyone's ever going to figure out the shape of it. The shape's irrelevant to me as far as I'm concerned. We know it's level. We know it's stationary. It's got peaks and troughs.
Yeah.
And we don't know the scale of it. We probably never will know the scale of it. How it works is what's more important. So if we can show people, start mapping your rainbows. Once you see a rainbow, just remember this: it's always going to be where you saw it. I remember places from when I was a kid, Nick, where I've seen rainbows. I could go there today, a long time later, and I know it's still going to be. I know now it's still going to be there.
Okay.
So what are you going to do with your rainbow? See, once you find a rainbow, You know it's going to be in the same place, but be careful because there's not just one. There's at least 4 or more, and they're all different sizes. So it's what you've got to do is find out which one you're looking at. So how we tell them to map it by its GPS center, which you can obtain just by looking at its diameter. Look at the black band, the Alexander band in the rainbow, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the dark band. That's actually the halo below, flipped up at 90 degrees. So you're seeing, a configuration of halo, and we can use that to map, to gauge the diameter of what that halo is down below. Because once you put a line from one side to the other, we can put a circle there, and we know exactly where the center is. Because that's what we're mapping, remember. We're not mapping the rainbow itself. We're mapping the Taurus field below it that's creating the rainbow, which is a sphere. Which is what if you look at the Alexander band, it's a black circle. It's a halo. It's all we have to do is put it on the ground, and there's your diameter.
Okay, so the
Alexander. Yeah.
Sorry, the Alexander band is something we can see in a rainbow.
Yeah, it's the black band in between the two sets of colours you see either side of it. Hold on. Let me get one of my videos up on screen. That would probably help.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm not gonna. The last time I clicked on the browser, then that's when we lost the connection.
Yeah,
so,
it's okay. Let me do it then.
But it's not going to show up on our stream.
Where we are? There it is. Can you see that?
Hang on a second. Okay, I'm just. All right. Yeah, just so the audience knows, I'm not going to show this because I don't want to risk jamming the stream again.
Right, okay.
But you're showing me a picture of a rainbow.
Right, yeah, I see what you mean now. The audience can't see it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, but...
let's see now. How can we do it? I mean, you can stop with that video if you want, and let me screen share, and then they'll see what I'm sharing if you want.
I'll give it a go. So, all right. Well, if
you stop screen sharing that one, it won't lag you then, will it?
Okay. Let me try and Okay,
yeah. You stop that and let me screen share this. This is just one of our Rainbow Warriors videos of the various rainbows they've been capturing.
Okay, just a second. Let's see if that'll work. Okay. Boom. I'll get rid of myself a second. Turn me off. Okay. All right. Well, that doesn't seem to have caused a problem. So, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm screen sharing now, so you have to allow me to screen share in the Hangout.
Oh yeah. It should be showing now. Oh, yeah.
Oh, so it is, right. Right, I'll let that play. It's just I've muted it. Don't worry, so you won't hear music. Right, see this one here? You can see that, yeah. Right, see slightly to the left, you'll see part of the outer band of it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Double rainbow. Now in between there is a black band we call the Alexander band. Yeah.
I see.
Now look very carefully, Nick, when it's coming down. This is in the foreground. Look, you can see it in the foreground. It's actually right there.
Yeah.
Right there is so we would mark there, and then the same with the other side.
I see.
So Smithy's going to pan to the right, and we can see it comes down over there somewhere. So she can go on Google Earth now and gauge the diameter of that. And that will, once we've got the diameter, we can put that on Google Earth, and it'll give us the GPS center of it. The center's just the middle of the rainbow, the central point.
Okay.
Which, like it says, we can gauge that by getting the left side and the right side of the rainbow. So if you can grab some altitude, like it shows you on there, you can actually see where it comes down and touches the ground. That's a really good way of marking them because it doesn't get any better than that. We've got Phil in our chat. He's been up close with one with his drone, looking down at it.
Really?
You can see the full with the drone. You can see a full circle. You see the full circle from the air.
Oh, so you mean it looks like a dome from the air? Is that what you're saying?
No, to us to us on the ground, it looks like a dome, doesn't it? Because we're seeing half a sphere sticking up the ground. But when you take a drone up, or if you look at one from altitude, you actually see the full circle rainbow encircling it.
Ah,
Have you,
okay.
have you never se- have you never seen one?
I have from an aircraft. I've seen a
Right,
full
yeah,
circle.
yeah. Well, that works. It works with drones and everything. Or some, you just need a bit of altitude, and you will see them.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and it does reveal the full circle. So all the circle is it's an effect caused by that Taurus field refracting and reflecting light from the sun into droplets of water in the atmosphere. That's what's creating the rainbow.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's
So
fascinating
it's
stuff.
refracted and reflected light off the sun or any other bright source for that matter. The moon can do it at night. And that's what it reveals. This is what's revealing your rainbow. Now, mainstream will tell you water creates the rainbow. No, it doesn't. No. If that was the case, when it rained, we'd be tripping over rainbows, wouldn't we?
That's true.
It'd be everywhere. Every water droplet would be throwing a rainbow in our faces somewhere, wouldn't it? No, it's ridiculous. No, the Taurus field, light and some moisture is all you need to reveal the electromagnetic field. Because I said this years ago, Nick, with the sun halos and the moon halos, the ice crystals and moisture allow us to see the electromagnetic world is what's really taking place.
That's a really, really poignant point. Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So say that again. Say that again, just so it's for clarity. Yeah.
Right. Water and ice crystals allow us to see the electromagnetic world, which is the spirit world. This is the spirit world the ancients speak of.
Right.
The spirit world is the electromagnetism all around us, and that's what you're seeing here. It's revealing the spirit world to us.
Right.
And the spirit being the electromagnetic nature of this technology.
Okay. Okay.
So ice crystals and water is revealing what's something there. That you're going to find this now. When you see a rainbow, it's always going to be there. And the only time you can see it is because water and sun. It's been at the right. You put the sun behind you, it's easy to find them. They're revealing it. Next time you see it, you'll say, "Well, it's revealing. It's still there now. It's not creating it. It's revealing it."
Yeah. Good point.
These are there all the time. And that's all we need to reveal it is water and ice crystals. And a bit of light. Yeah, and a bit of light. I'll leave this playing anyway because basically playing.
That's brilliant. Yeah, yeah. So you would like people to contribute to this if they can. Yeah, you'd like people to observe rainbows and try and get their GPS location and send it to you. Yeah.
Yes. No, there's a guy in your chat called Bob Questions saying, "Sorry, position of the rainbow depends on the position of your head." No, it doesn't. When you see a rainbow, it's always going to be where you see it, and the only thing that changes is it'll appear to be revolving. That's all. That's down to the sun's position. Because if you look at an hour later, you'll see the rainbows revolve round more. It's just the sun's incidence of light, reflecting off that electromagnetic sphere.
Right. You're just changing your perspective of it.
Yeah, I'm not telling people to walk or run. I want you to stand still. Just stand still. You start moving, your angle to the light on that sphere is going to change. People say, oh, but rainbows move. No, it's because you're moving. Stop moving and it'll stop moving.
That's true.
The only time it moves is if you do or the sun does.
Right.
But it's not moving. It's just what you're going to find on a time lapse. The rainbow actually revolves right around the sphere that it's sitting on.
Okay.
So it's not moving away from you. It's slowly revolving around the sphere that sits on top of.
Okay. Yeah. Now that picture there that you've got up there, it's interesting. Wow, that's beautiful. I remember noticing, or someone pointed it out to me a while ago, that inside that dome, for want of a better word, is much. It's much brighter than outside, isn't it? Have I got that right?
you can. Yeah, you can see it there in that image right there. See it?
If you just go back to the one you were just.
Yeah, that one there in that field. That shows you that quite well. You can see a difference in light on the outside and the inside of it. See that there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, have you ever noticed them days where you look outside and everything's got like an orange tinge to it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or there's a reddish tinge or a indigo type tinge.
Yeah.
It's these spheres.
I see.
It's the spheres below rainbows doing it. So like that one there, look, that one would be an easy one to mark, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Very easy. You can see it's coming down. It's in the foreground of that hedge, that tree line there. So you know that's one side of it right there.
Right.
The other side, just somewhere beyond that house. So that gives you the diameter of that sphere.
Okay.
I take the rainbow away, and what you're looking at is a sphere sticking out of the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we're mapping. We're mapping the sphere. Although I say the rainbow is just an effect created by the sphere of light and water.
So, so just to summarize there, basically, when you see a rainbow, they're going to be in the same place, basically. So there are certain.
Yeah, once you found one, it's always going to reside there. Yes.
I see.
And and then you'll know if you found one.
Right.
And what we're finding is that they seem to be coming in groups of 4 or more.
Really?
What you're going to find is, where that one's come down, you'll find there's another one slightly overlaps it, and it's bigger or smaller than it. So what people are doing is mapping them and then looking for the others. It's just going to be a slow, long process, but it's exciting because they know that now resides there permanently. They can go out and catch it anytime they want.
Wow. Yeah. So, and what do you think is, so these are energetic nodes or something, or what would you say is happening there?
That's the accelerator or angel below that site, and this is their signature. That's the signature of the angel, of its halo.
Okay. Say that again, please. Sorry, I was just a little bit distracted.
The rainbow is the signature of electromagnetism from this technology.
Okay. So this is emanating from the ground, going up.
Yeah.
Is this
from the halo down below and creating an electromagnetic sphere that sticks up above the ground? Yes.
Ah, right.
So you can see the other half's actually operating in the underworld, isn't it?
Right.
The bit we can't see is operating below. We're just seeing the above part of it.
Okay, gotcha. Now, there's. Am I right to assume, from what that I've heard recently, that the further away, let's say, for example, you go to somewhere like Antarctica, the rainbows are a lot lower?
No.
No, this is not? Okay.
No. It depends what it's doing. And, it might be a small one. Like I say, there's different size ones. If you get a small one, we've seen one that's 200 meters in diameter.
Right.
And others that's like 17 mile wide.
Okay. So,
it depends which one it is in the stack. They come in, like I said, groups of 4 or 6.
Okay.
And we need to find it. Slowly over time. Hopefully, we'll get them mapped and the configuration of them. Is it 4 or 6 that create this group?
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, have you got any kind of confirmation that these relate to, for example, ley lines and where they've put some of these capital cities, for example, London, Washington?
Oh yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just where I am alone, Nick, I've mapped 6 around me already. I can't put mine online because it would expose where I actually live.
Right.
So mine will be the last you get to see. But I've done that here. I've mapped them. I know where they are, and I've actually just found a new one. Well, it's not a new one. It was one outside of my area. But the wind changed recently, and because what you're going to notice, the wind direction. An easy way to locate them if you can't see them. The wind goes towards them. That's Eve sucking the wind towards her to pass up to Adam. So the wind direction, or weather vanes for that matter, watch your weather vane. That'll point to the nearest active angel.
Really?
That's pointing. The wind's going that way towards that one there. So all you have to do is look in that direction, and you'll find one. When when the conditions are right, when the sun and some moisture's there, you will see the rainbow.
Wow, fascinating! Wow.
That's what we've been doing over the last few years, and we're teaching the Rainbow Warriors in our Discord, all this information, what to look for.
Right.
Including things like a sacred well. Every one of them's got a sacred well. Because there's a water outlet comes from them. All these connect together, create streams and rivers. That's why your rivers never run out. There's no one ever thought, where does all this water come from? Because when you trace it back to source, it's a puddle coming out of the ground. And you think, how did that make a river that never runs out? Well, it's not just the one, is it? It's all of them doing it.
Okay. Can I put your link to your Discord in the chat?
Yeah, of course you can, yeah.
Okay, just a sec. All right, so this is link to... now, is this AMP or FPV, the Discord?
It's APM Research Discord. Yeah, APM Research Discord server, yeah.
Okay, just a sec. All right, chaps, there's that one. Okay, so you would like people to contribute to that if you can. This is great because this is what it's all about, and I love the way you're, you know, like you said, we were chatting earlier. You were saying that this isn't about you; it's about the work. It's about the collaboration,
Yes.
and that's what's important here, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, you know, anyone coming to APM research, you're not going to be a viewer, you're going to be a researcher. We're going to
Right.
teach you how to research. Yeah, we're going to
Yeah.
give you homework. So Graham said that. He says, every time I come away from yours, I feel like I've always got homework to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we're just trying to, you know, we're just trying to give you tips to, we're not
Right.
bullshitting you people. We want you
Right.
to go out there and see this yourself. You can prove this to
Yeah.
yourself.
Right. Yeah, that's brilliant. So, I mean, you know, like, are there some places in the UK, for example, that you know are prominent energetic centres? I mean, for example, Salisbury or London even.
Well, I've done the Glastonbury tour. Do you want to see the Glastonbury tour one?
Yeah, of
That's a
course.
nice one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show
Yeah.
that one. I'll show that one.
There's something about Glastonbury which you know, this is one of my things. I mean, I love Asia, I love being in Thailand, but I have this hankering to get back to England as well because, yeah, I think that this is it. I mean, there is so much to the ancient culture that is still there that we could do more work to research on. So.
I'll let that one there play in the background.
Okay.
You have to let me screen share, Nick.
It should be.
Is it?
Sorry. Hang on. I've got to go back to it. Maybe. I can see the video playing on the Hangout, and it seems to be showing.
Yeah, it's working now. Yeah,
Okay.
you can see it. Yeah. So this was a decode of Glastonbury Tor rainbow. There's a rainbow. You know, the Tor is actually created by the technology. It's the interface event. It's actually the Vesica Pisces overlap. So if you look at Glastonbury Tor, it's like an eye shape. Now, if you look at the halos on the top left of that video playing there, you'll see the overlap of halos creates the eye. That's the Vesica Pisces. So it's the Vesica Pisces that helps create landmass. It's pushing landmass up. The forces involved in this technology working is what's creating the Tors. You'd be surprised how many Tors there are around the world. But this is Glastonbury. So hold on, I'll forward it a bit past the text.
Okay.
And here we are. I'll let it play from there. So you can see this is Glastonbury Tor.
Okay.
A video done by Drone HD TV Drone Journey. He let me use the drone footage so you can see what's going on here. Now you see the fog on the ground in the background.
Yeah.
It creates a circle around this site.
Ah. Okay.
You know why? Because there's a big halo there. These halos create the fog, the mist, and the clouds, Nick. This is what you're going to start to realize now where all these effects of nature actually come from. They've got they've all got a common cause.
Right, and it's not because we're on a spinning globe.
Nope. No spinny ball stuff here. No.
Yeah.
So you can see it there. You can see it's famous for it. This place is actually famous for this, and its name in Celtic is Island of Apples.
Oh, really?
The apple being the Taurus field, of course.
Okay.
And this site here is the eye. It's the eye in between the Vesica Pisces of those two halos overlapping.
Sorry, I've not heard that word before. The Vesica Pisces. How do you spell that?
The Vesica, Vesica, and then Piscis, Vesica Pisces.
Okay.
It's very sacred a name from probably every culture out there. They might have a different name for it, but it's referring to how the two halos overlap.
I see.
And it creates this special place in the center, which is what this is on top of. This site here is sitting on top of two big rainbows or two halos down below ground.
Right. Okay, we've got a question. We've got a question from Dirt Wizard. Do the rainbows follow the energy grid lines?
That's what we're going to find out when we map them. We haven't got enough mapped to say yes or no on that yet. But these do create the energy lines.
I see. Okay.
The energy lines might not be straight lines. They might be like a sine wave, overlapping lines of these.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
We've,
Yeah.
we've got that to work out yet.
Okay.
When we get enough, if we can get enough rainbows in one spot, and we have the ley lines for that spot, they might make more sense. Because my question now would be, well, how did they get the ley lines? What did they use to mark the ley lines?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to use the rainbows to do it. What did they use?
Well, I know divining, with a couple of rods to find water. I know that works from experience, So
Yeah, I've
there
read
is,
that, yeah.
this, and yeah, obviously there's the connection with water, energy, flow. Like you said earlier, there's always a well or a spring in these places, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, even this site's got one. It's and what you're going to find is it's always at node 3 on the halo. That's something else we'll be teaching the Rainbow Warriors. Once they can mark these big rainbows down, once we can find a sacred well anywhere within that circle that we've got on the map, we know that's node 3 on the halo. We can then configure the halo correctly to match what it should look like. Going by the template we've got already.
okay.
Unless there's different configurations which we haven't come across yet, because everyone is coming across sacred water sites.
I see.
So it's
Yeah.
tying in nicely. We're slowly but surely adding more and more pieces to the picture for them to look for and decode and prove to themselves out in nature.
Wow, yeah, fascinating. You used the word octave just now, just talking about those circles.
The octaves, yes, yeah.
So what do you mean by that?
Right, the octaves, I would call them the octaves of creation. You see that animation playing now, the spirals coming up and going down, right?
Yeah.
So the ones coming up are from Eve's cathode, and they would rise up into the sky.
Yeah.
The ones that create the lunar wave are atoms in the sky, and they would come down the way. This is what's creating your Taurus field. This is what's taking place underneath the rainbow. This happens inside every rainbow.
I see. Which again, you're saying is not creating; it's being revealed.
It's being revealed, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Water did not create it. No. Water and sunlight help reveal it. Like that one there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. It does make a lot more sense to me, and I love it because this is what we're really looking at. We're looking at the esoteric nature.
Well, it is. That it is, Nick, isn't it? We're outside. We're getting people to go outside. We can, you can still be disabled and help us with this. You can look out your window and I've got a rainbow, perfect thing. Yeah, I can help APM research. Anyone can help with this. It empowers you. You get empowered to go outside and start researching these sacred sites that's sacred to you. Everyone's got sacred sites in every nation.
Right.
Well, all we're doing is saying, go outside, find your rainbow, look for node 3. You're going to find the sacred well there. Then you've got one marked. Now you need to find all the others that connect to that one. There's that one there on the screen. That's got another one that connects to it to create that hill in the first place.
Okay.
I've also found one in North Wales at Llangollen. The same setup.
Really?
Actually, the same setup. Yeah.
Wow. Oh.
So, this empowers the individual, the researcher, to go out there and see it themselves. And how cool is that, Nick, that anyone anywhere in the world can go outside and prove this to themselves?
Oh, that's brilliant. That's what it's all. Yeah,
doesn't matter where you are. You go outside and follow our research. You're going to start seeing what we're telling you.
Right. Yeah.
They reside where you see them. They get revealed by water, ice, and sunshine. Not created by. No, they're revealed by.
Yeah.
Big difference. It's the same what they said about our ancestors, Nick. They say our ancestors were worshipping false gods or numerous gods. No, there's a very fine line between worship and glorification, don't you think? Because what we're seeing around the world is not worship, it's glorification in many forms. Many expressions of glorifications of how this technology works and what it represents is what we're looking at. Oh, they're very sneaky how they worded it. We weren't worshipping nothing. We were glorifying this. This is what we were doing. Big difference.
Yeah. It is, yeah. That's what this is all about, really. It's you can see why we're being totally distracted from that way of thinking when this is the kind of education we should be being given from an early age rather than what we are being told. And obviously it becomes evident that the distractions are deliberate and I think we all have this intrinsic desire to know where we are, who we are, what we're doing here, but it's from age dot. It's just kind of that's removed from.
When they reset the calendar, that's when they started re-educating us on complete bloody nonsense and where we're at today with it, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're left scratching our heads, wondering what the hell's going on.
This.
You see this bit on the screen here, Nick. This is another important one. You know, I tell people to go and map the rainbows. The globers say, "Oh, I can create a rainbow with my hosepipe." Yeah. Do you want to know why you can create one with your hosepipe? Of course you do. Look at this image here. You spray a hosepipe, you're going to reveal a rainbow. And what it is, it's the full-size one. You're standing in its field. You know, we walk, drive, and fly through these electromagnetic spheres every day. They're everywhere. This is the sun focusing it down into water. That's what it does.
Right.
You know, when you spray your hosepipe, if you see one there, you know there's a full-size real one behind you now. Because it's this sphere that created it, and look where the angle of the sun. That's why it's doing it.
Yeah.
And as the sun moved, the angle of that one would move as well.
I've got a question.
So,
a question from Ashman Karoz. Can you explain the rainbows we reveal in our houses?
In his houses?
I don't know. I've never seen a rainbow in my house. But
how is he revealing them in houses? Is he using a hose and water in his house, or?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, what I've just said there will happen anywhere. You know, electromagnetism penetrates everything. So if you can get light and water in a room, you should be able to locate a rainbow.
I don't
think a house is going to block it.
That's true. It's like all, you know, just like Wi-Fi or whatever. It's there. It's just it's in our air, isn't it? This electromagnetic.
If it means from a prism or something, then that's just the prism itself, you know, recreating the lights or the colours of the spectrum. That's not actually related to this, is it? You know, this is something else. You can see there. Look, see the wind bowing towards. See the tree bending towards it, Nick.
Yeah.
There's hold on, I'll pause it there because there's some good clues there. See that. Right, watch this. You know, trees will bow towards them. I've said this in videos. You watch this tree, and you can see the top of it bending towards there. That one, look, the wind's blowing towards it.
Oh, yeah.
And this next one, where's it at? There, on the left. See it? That little tree bending towards it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So they physically draw the air towards them. You know, it's spiraling that much. It's pulling all the air out of the atmosphere towards it. So this is what's, you know, the winds will rush towards it. That's where it says the weather vane will point right at it. And not only that, Nick, you know, if you look at trees that have got a bend in them, you know, they lean in a certain direction, they're leaning towards the nearest angel.
Okay.
My pear tree is pointing right at the big one that's, you know, in the city.
Really?
It's pointing right at it, my pear tree. Yeah, it leans towards it. So even plants have got a tendency to lean towards the nearest one.
Well, that's true. You'll see trees that have been bent because they're constantly being battered by a wind going in a certain direction.
Yeah. And like that there, you can see the air patches there. They're always on the opposite side of the rainbow, and I put that down to the winds howling through that direction. You know, it strips it bare. We've noticed that on a lot of trees, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and it's like when you look at
and
the
there, look,
and
if you look there, you know, that was a summer capture of mine. Look, was it? I'll go back a sec. Yeah, so we've got leaves on that tree. Look, it's a summer capture, right? There's all the leaves there. Yeah. Keep watching, and you'll see a winter capture with no leaves, and still the same rainbow.
Okay.
There, see it? Yeah. No leaves. Look, we're in winter, and it's the same rainbow.
I see. This is brilliant. Yeah. I was going to say,
and you can see the way, you know, the trees are bending with the wind. I thought, it's wild today. What's going on? And I thought, you know, this one's very active all of a sudden. There's lots of clouds are being sucked towards it. They're going to get drawn towards it. So I was looking around, wondering, you know, this one's become very active all of a sudden, and I looked up and seen the moon. So it was that caused it. You know, to me, it switched on to shepherd this luminary across.
Okay. You've made me.
this is where the shepherding role seems to fit in with it. You know, the moon's now come into this part of the grid, and all the ones in my area activated in a supporting role for this thing going across. Because once it had gone, it all calmed down again.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like you're going to show something else kind of important there, which is...
Yeah, I was trying to find different ways of detecting them.
Oh, okay.
Like this, you know, what we're showing you here, a bit of wire with an LED on. If it's under, like, there's a USB charging dock underneath that. That's why it's making it flash.
Okay.
But I was wondering if I made some of these and I walked across certain sites, would it start flashing all of a sudden? I've never tried it, you know, I've never gone out. I wish I'd was put one on the dashboard in my car.
Yeah, go
And
for it, yeah.
it starts flashing, you know, I've gone over one.
Okay.
If it works.
Okay. Brilliant. Yeah,
or even, you know, even walk around the compass and see if suddenly you get sudden changes going on. Because when they're operational, their north poles get elevated into the sky. You see a tornado, and it lifts heavy objects like trucks and grids and things like that. You think, that's a lot of power to lift metal like that.
Yeah.
It's because the North Pole, Eve's North Pole, is now elevated above, and it's causing things to be drawn towards it.
Okay.
That's why things lift. That's why things are lifting up. It's the halo above it drawing them. So what is happening there, Nick? You've got a localized North Pole. There's something we've never heard of before. Right. A localized North Pole.
Yeah.
And as it moves across the map, things are going to react to it. You know, that's what's happening with tornadoes.
I see.
It's not the wind blowing things up in the sky. It's the North Pole of Eve being high up in the sky, trying to draw, and it's drawn all the metalwork upwards, or it's trying to.
Right. I see. Sorry, there's a question. A confirmation from Ashman Carols there. He says, my question is that you know when you grab a small mirror and spray bottle, and under the light bulb you spray and it reveals a rainbow. So, okay, you're talking about using artificial light, I suppose.
Well, yeah. Well, the light in your home is actually created from this technology. It's alternating current, isn't it?
That's true.
The alternating current going through a bulb could, you know, which is basically a little sphere. So, yeah, you know, I would not be surprised if you saw them colours associated with alternating current, because it's part of the same thing. These do generate like alternating currents. You know, this is where the alternating current comes from. It's this technology, it creates it.
Right. Oh, I can see. Okay, is that a reflection in the water of the rainbow there, or is that actually doing its... Oh, that's the full circle, or is that the full circle?
Yeah, this is a full circle small one. This is in Sweden. This is the video. This is the video playing now. See a full circle one here with a drone, and it's not. Isn't it? You can see it's not that big. Look.
No. Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah. Wow.
And you know, look, you know, it's not moving away, Nick. It's sitting there quite happily doing what it does.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You know, it's so we're revealing it, aren't we? We're revealing that it lives there, basically. And you know, and especially when you find one, pay attention to the sites, because all these, what you're going to find is all of our sacred sites are marking rainbows.
I see.
This is what you're going to find now. All of these sacred sites, that's churches, cathedrals, star forts, castles, temples, pyramids, and any other sacred site you can think of.
Yeah.
They're all marking rainbow sites.
Okay, so they knew what they were doing.
Yes, they mark the sites. It's what's below that's sacred, not what's above. What's above is a belief system, so ignore that. It's what's below that's being marked. Yeah, so that's really the creative belief systems, isn't it? You know, this is important information, and it gives you a better idea of what's going on and how they tried to hide it all.
Yeah, you're right.
Because what I've found here, in where I live, I found there's a castle that's built on top of a Roman fort, which is built on top of a Celtic fort. And you think, wait a minute, well, they're all fighting over here. No, they're all marking the rainbow. Right. They're all marking this rainbow. That's the only thing that's there.
Yeah.
It's below there that they're actually marking, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, I was doing some research into some of the sites in Paris. For example, Notre Dame and some of the Palace of Versailles. These are on sites which were, they were already sacred sites. And
well, I would say the Hunchback's probably a reference to is the Taurus field.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Look at Notre Dame and see if there's a rainbow there. I guarantee there will be.
Right. Yeah.
I literally can guarantee it just thinking about it now.
Right. So there's this is it where these people have these empires have their seats of power. There's obviously
So they've basically gone around, took over the ancient sites, and stole what's there and marked it down as them. Invented religion. They want you on your knees worshipping, or they sit back and reap the rewards of ripping off this technology and selling us it's electric. You see what's going on?
yeah. Well, they're making us pay for the bloody electric that should be free.
Like one conscience says, we're the only species dumb enough to pay to live here. It's true, isn't it?
So true. Yeah, it's nuts when you think about it. Yeah, how lost we are in that respect. Yeah.
But and even knowing what I know now, I mean, I haven't paid my electric bill for over a year now. They've just actually blacklisted me.
Oh, really? Sweet.
But yeah, because I keep falling out with them. They just make it up and talk a lot of crap. So I stopped paying them. They owe me money as far as I'm concerned. If they get in touch now, I'm actually thinking of saying to them, well, knowing what I know now and that you're ripping off the creator's glory and selling me electric, it feels like I'm buying stolen goods, I don't want to pay for it, Why should I pay for something that the creator gives us for free? You're stealing it and selling it me. I don't feel good about
that. That's so true.
You can see where I'm coming from, though.
Definitely. Well, this is
what this is what they're doing. This is what it's all about.
Absolutely, yeah. It is about regaining our sovereignty. I saw a
people mention free. Oh, we can have free energy. You've already got it. Someone's just put a bloody smart meter on the end of it. That's all.
Yeah.
A bit of cable and a smart meter. That's all man's done.
Yeah.
The rest's already here.
Yeah. And it takes this change of our mindsets to understand that. We really have to kind of tune into that understanding, don't we? That you say, they should be paying us. In fact,
oh God, yeah. We have Nick. We have shares in this.
Yep.
I'll say it like this. It's the birthright of every human being to know what we live upon.
Yeah.
To understand how it works and to know who created it and to share and partake in its grace.
Yes.
This should not be copyright to any race, religion, group, or nation. This belongs to everyone, and as far as I'm concerned, we should be protecting it from people like these.
Yeah.
This is our world. Our world. Get that in your head, people. This is our world, not theirs. This is ours. This belongs to us all. We've all got a say in this.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to that. What can we say? It's to that ends that we need to kind of focus this on. Like you say, the maps and the models are great, but it encompasses everything. It encompasses the whole our reason for being here.
We've got to get beyond flat Earth and work out how it works, and that's what we've been doing for the last 8 or 9 years, trying to show people how the progression of our research and decodings of this technology. I mean, look at that on the screen. Look at that. Wow. It's insane. We're telling people, get out there and watch this. This is what's going on. This is this is the technology. You can see it there. Look, there's a halo.
Yeah.
Look at that. And that's what I find strange in this so-called community, Nick. Everyone came here looking for answers and to research and find out how this world works. We discovered the rainbow and all this information I'm telling you about today. And there's hardly anyone there talks about it. You think, wait a minute, this is a revelation in itself. The rainbow residing where we see them, that's a revelation in itself. And as far as I'm concerned, it begs all the right questions, doesn't it? What is it? What is it? Why is it there all the time? Why does it switch off at 10 o'clock and come back on at 2? What's going on? It begs the right questions, Nick. This is what we want people doing.
Yeah. Definitely.
Sooner or later, some kid's going to go into school and say to the teacher, "Sir, the rainbows reside where you see them, and they can be mapped." "Oh, don't be silly, you silly bugger. Who told you that?" "Well, that one outside the window did, sir. You can't debunk me, sir. Sorry." It's the kids start teaching teachers that this is what's really going on.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. Once it gets into schools that these rainbows reside where you see them, the kids will have a field day with the teachers at school with this.
Yeah.
You can't debunk me, sir. Sorry.
I've
Did
just
you
got.
not know that, sir? So you should know this, sir. You're supposed to be teaching me. I'm now teaching you about rainbows, sir. What's going on?
Hang on. Hang on a minute. Oh, sorry, I just got interrupted by a Skype call. I wasn't expecting. You still there?
Yes, the
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, it's throwing me off now. Sorry, I was just one question I was going to have for you regarding this is, like, for example, here in Thailand, like right now it's the dry season and it's very, very still, and it will stay this way for a good few months, and then around just after April, May, then we start to get the monsoon season. So when you were talking about
Yeah,
the winds,
that's your spring, isn't it?
yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what would you say is happening maybe beneath the earth to make that
More,
happen? Is there movement?
more activation of these angels in your part of the grid, and until the sun starts moving up the gates to your location, what you're going to find, like in winter in UK,
Mm-hmm.
we get more storms and it seems a bit more wild compared to what you get in summer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's because the sun's moved further south of the equator,
Uh-huh.
and the angels in the north have got a lot of harder work to do. And plus the atoms aren't active. Remember, that's why it's called. The atoms bring the heat. They compress cold to generate heat. The atoms, come winter, they're not working. Just the eaves are. That's why it's cold.
Ah, I see. Okay.
So it's so the eaves still, the eaves are still wisping up the clouds and such, and they go where they go. But the atoms aren't as active because there's no sun here to switch them on.
Okay.
So once the sun crosses the equator, comes up back into, say, your sector of the world,
Uh-huh.
your local atoms will start coming up. That's spring, and it'll start the fall and getting warmer and warmer. This is when you get a bit more storms as well in spring because all the atoms have switched on, and now we're getting electromagnetism in full effect, and nature starts doing what it does. It's pretty wild.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. It really does make sense, and that's what I love about this. It's like, when you look at reality and you got an alternative explanation to what we're given. It's like,
watch the wind speeds. Keep an eye on the wind speeds. You're going to see sometimes. You're going to see. Wait a minute. It says that it's going to double or treble the wind speed at that time of day. Why would it do that?
Right.
And it's just a timed event.
Uh-huh.
They're all running on timers, and whatever's going on in the sky, they'll react accordingly. Other than that, they've got their own local duties to do, which is create your local weather, your nature.
Right.
And during national or international events, they're going to be running at higher speed and be quite destructive.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's one way I know. My wife, for example, looks at all this going on. Yeah, they've got a job to do. The sun, the moon, whatever's going on, it's got a job to do. It has a purpose.
Oh, and it does a fantastic job, doesn't it? Look at nature. Take us away, and this place is a beautiful place. Man's turned it into a war zone, hasn't he? It's a bloody war zone now.
That's true.
But this is we do walk in the Garden of Eden. We really do. This technology is creating our nature. Our very nature of this world, your grass, everything. None of this would exist if it wasn't for this technology. That's what they're going to be shocked by that.
Right.
What do you mean? Well, yes, this is this creation is creating all this. What we call in nature is created by this technology and its creator.
Yeah.
Man's just hid man's hid the technological aspects of it, and they haven't gone out of the way to hide who the creator even is, because we have no idea who the creator is.
Right. Yeah.
We just know there is. We know there is one.
Sure.
We don't know who.
Yeah.
It might be more than it might be more than one. We have no idea.
Yeah. This is it. I mean, this is where we should be. As you say, the glory of it, rather than worshipping it. Yeah. And I think that's a good point, because when you look at, for example, the Apollo programs and things like that, anything to do with space and all that. It's about worship, isn't it? That's what we have.
It is, yeah. You're space fantasists.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm laughing, but we were no different 10, 15 years ago. We were just the same as them, believing all that.
Well, yeah, we were born into the cult. Couldn't help it.
Yeah. We had no reason to question it until this flat Earth topic popped up, did we?
Yeah. So it's all good, and I think the more they try and distract, the more they reveal as well. what's really going
Yeah.
on. So
That's the beauty of the rainbows. It's going to beg the right question from people.
Yeah.
What is it? Why is it there all the time? What's it doing? It's
oh,
doing what it's always done. We've just been so ignorant of what it actually is and what it's doing. Not anymore. Not anymore. We see it and we see how it works now. And so that's what we're teaching now. Rainbow Warriors. They're going to go out there and change the world. The Rainbow Warriors are going to be the pivot point in what the hell's going on in this world. They're going to change the future. Because more and more are joining, and they're coming from all over the world, Nick, and they can go out there and teach the family and friends. In no time at all will this be around the world, and this knowledge will be known again.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're going to find. A lot of people gravitate towards this knowledge and information because I think it's built into us. We recognize it, and we know it's true. We know what it is. I look at some of this symbology. I've been doodling that since I was a kid. I didn't know what it meant when I was a kid, but you draw these shapes and things. It's built into us.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, when you doodle, it's spirals and Taurus.
Yeah, you come up with all this sacred geometry in your drawings and things, and you think, why did I draw that? Stars, even stars, you do things like that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's like something's trying to tell us, come on, remember, come on, hurry up.
Yeah. That's it. The clues are staring us in the face.
Our ancestors. It is, the ancestors don't have to do any face palms anymore. Yes, at last they've got it. Can you imagine that? How long have they been doing face palms? Waiting for us to figure it out.
Come on, hurry up.
Well, there's another thing, Nick. The Hopi prophecy. They talk about the Rainbow Warriors working things out and correcting the world. Well,
oh, really?
Wow. Yeah, that was news to me at the time. I thought, is that for real? But yeah, it does exist. But it makes sense, really. If it's prophecy, then it's happened before, and it's just information. Once we work out what the rainbow is, things will get corrected again.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it's telling you. Yeah, well, that's where we are today.
Yeah, it's inspiring
exactly
stuff.
What we're doing, isn't
it?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, I've just put your link in your link to Discord again. So I do have to wrap this up. So this is absolutely. I really appreciate you taking the time to go through this and explain it, and your enthusiasm is infectious. Sure.
Oh yeah, I see it. The Rainbow Warriors. You come and have a chat with us, and it's an exciting time, and it should be. Look what we're revealing again.
Yeah. We just okay. I'm just gonna just give me a second to minimize that and get myself back on. So
I'm not here, me and the team. None of us are here to waste people's time. We're just normal people, normal family members, blah blah blah, trying to figure out what the hell's going on, how this world works. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of it now.
I think so. Yeah, despite all the distractions and all that. It's
look at Jason said. Look what Jason said in the chat there. Jason Tomlinson. He's our maps guy.
I never liked FE, came to APM to debunk it. Been 8 years now, right? And he said something before that as well, which was FE turned into a shit show over the years. I had one foot out the door until I found APM research. Nice one, yeah, brilliant. Yeah. So Jason came to debunk us and couldn't, so he joined us. There you go.
And look at Jason's work; it's progressed his work no end.
Okay,
hasn't it, Jason?
I'm going to have to, maybe there's a couple of channels I need to kind of go and subscribe to there as well. So I only hope that this is, I'm frozen again now. I only hope that this has helped, I'm just trying to activate that again. Okay, just a second. I only hope that this has helped at least point a few people in the direction, and you hopefully you get a few more people involved in the research, and like I said, you've helped me understand where you've come from a lot more. I really
like it says, the flat Earth is, flat Earth to us was 10 years ago now. How it works is where we're at,
Right.
But we don't mind talking about flat Earth. It's still we are still flat Earthers or level Earthers, whatever you want to call it. They keep attacking even the name now, don't they, to make a mess.
Yeah, but this
divide and conquer.
Sure. That's always been the tactic. We could see that coming a mile off as well, because I think a lot of us had researched all of that and understood that before getting to FE. So, but ultimately we are talking about freedom, aren't we? We're talking about the freedom to explore this realm, to be free from all of the nonsense they're throwing at us, and this is it. And like you said, you want people to try and debunk it, to look into it, see what they can find out, and if you found out something new, that's great. Add it to the mix, isn't it?
Yeah, same with questions. I love questions. You'll find a lot of people out there, they avoid questions because they're scared they can't answer it. That doesn't scare me. You ask me something I can't answer, I'll go and try and find an answer for it for you. If I can't find it, one of the other team members will. Sooner or later we'll get to the bottom of it, won't we?
Yeah, for sure.
and maybe we'll reveal some more important information in the process.
Hopefully so. Yeah. So
debunks like Jason put in the video last night. Debunks are welcome, but as long as it's done in the right manner and it's not just taking the piss.
Yeah, it's not a case of just saying, "Oh no, that doesn't fit with my beliefs." It's like, no,
stamping your feet's not going to work. You're going to have to speak with data.
Absolutely, yeah. So let me just have a quick. So just to see we've got in there. Mighty Atom, thank you. I think you left us now. Luca, thank you for all your comments, Luca. Luca's obviously someone who's part of your team and a Rainbow Warrior there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Jack's dreaming. Thank you. David Banner, always good. Yeah, thanks for that, David Banner. You pointed out capoeira, the Portuguese dancing. Yeah, so we're talking about kind of the, things being hidden. Dirt Wizard, Bob Question, who else? Juniper, Dr. Evils, Dean HD, Roger Ledwell. Brilliant. Oh, well, thanks. So sorry about the technical hitches there, but I suspect I've no idea what happened there. Dorian Gray, thanks. Who knows why that happened?
Yeah, but, shouts out from us as well to the chatters, because without them, we wouldn't. Who would we be showing this to? We're hoping they respond to this and react to it and come and join us and join in and see the world for what it really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, don't forget to change the title, Nick, or you're gonna have a lot of fishermen turning up.
Well, maybe that's what we need.
Hey, isn't that funny that it worked once you changed the name? Eh?
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, that's maybe like you say, if you want to put this together in a video, feel free to. I don't know if I can download what we've done.
Yeah, I'll download the pieces that were made and compile it into one.
All right, brilliant.
Easy.
Yeah. Okay. Nice one. Okay, so let's I'll stay on the line just quickly. Let me just wrap up the stream and then I'll just So I just want to say thank you very much, everyone, for coming in. Really appreciate this, and thanks for kind of dealing with my butterfingers as putting up with that. So great. I hope it was enjoyable and informative. And you go and subscribe to FPV if you're not, and of course contribute to the. Become a Rainbow Warrior, contribute to the research, yeah? So thanks all. Have yourselves a great rest of the weekend. And if I missed you in chat, I'm sorry. Graham9, I saw you there. Hasdek, okay. Hasdek, thank you very much. So thanks a lot, everyone. Let's focus on exploring the realm that we find ourselves in and look for some real answers rather than some of the nonsense we've been fed by the controllers. So yeah, all right, I'll say goodbye for now.